strange evolutionary process going on, but mankind won't be destroyed. The fact that you and I are working here today is evidence of that.
On a 66-degree night, we welcome you into Sinsheimer Stadium for SLO Blues baseball. Tonight, we've got the first game of a home-and-home between the Blues and the Arroyo Seco Saints. After a week up and down the coast, the Blues are playing at home for the first time in 9 games. In between the home contests, the Blues split a 4-game road trip 2-2. SLO was swept in Conejo by the Oaks, including a walk-off loss on Wednesday night, but bounced back, though, with a sweep of their own over the previously undefeated Orange County Riptide. Now 3-3 in CCL play, the Blues turn their attention to the 2-5 Arroyo Seco Saints. Dean Traynor will hand the ball to USC righty Fisher Johnson, and Arroyo Seco counters with left-hander Peyton Carriaco. Can the Blues win their 3rd in a row in today's homecoming matchup? It's Game 1 between the Blues and the Saints, and it's coming up next on the SLO Blues streaming network. As we welcome you into the broadcast booth at Sinsheimer Stadium for the first time in what feels like a million days, where the Blues played 4 straight road games after their home-and-home with the Santa Barbara Foresters, but they're back here at Sinsheimer Stadium, and they're getting back adjusted to home play. We mentioned in the Orange County series, the Blues play 6 of their first 8 games in CCL play on the road. This is one of the ones they play at home. They'll go back to Arroyo Seco tomorrow. After that, though, 9 straight here at Sinsheimer Stadium. But today, it's the homecoming matchup, and it is the 2-5 Arroyo Seco Saints who come into town. The Saints lost their first 2 games, and they've lost 2 in a row with a couple wins mixed in between. But the Saints, a team that are below the Blues in the standings, so a series that the Blues hope they can win, especially with one of the games here at home at Sinsheimer Stadium where they've been so good so far this year. We're going to take a quick break here on the SLO Blues streaming network and come back for first pitch and national anthem.
Mankind won't be destroyed. The fact that you and I are working here today is evidence of that.
We welcome you back here to Sinsheimer Stadium on the SLO Blues streaming network as both managers talk at home plate. It's Aaron Milam for the Arroyo Seco Saints and, of course, Dean Traynor for your San Luis Obispo Blues as the Blues return home for the first time in 9 games. They swept their first overnight road series of the year, but they were swept in their first official road series of the year earlier last week against the Conejo Oaks. In the CCL play so far, the Blues stand at 3-3. Well, they're 1-0 here at home. 5 of the first 6 of the first 8 for the Blues played on the road since league play has begun. The Blues are about to enter the field, and we'll let you take a listen in for that and national anthem.
Welcome to the 2023 season of your San Luis Obispo Blues, your hometown team since 1946. Ladies and gentlemen, it is the principal of the San Luis Obispo Blues to foster a family-friendly spectators are asked to support their team in a positive manner and treat opposing fans and players with respect. Profanity, racial slurs, or otherwise unruly behavior will not be tolerated, and violators will be removed from the facility. We thank you in advance for your cooperation. I'd like to also remind you that today's free foul ball sponsor is TNS Structural. Not only make great engineers, they make great teammates. Here's the starting lineup for the Arroyo Seco Saints. Leading off for the Saints, batting, wearing number 4, the right fielder Max Blessinger. He'll be followed up by number 5, the left fielder Tyke McDonald. Then number 2, the designated hitter Alex Burge. And the cleanup batter for the Saints tonight, number 11, the third baseman Jack Little. Continuing their lineup, batting 5th, number 26, playing first base, Jack Hammond. Then number 13, the second baseman Roberto Gonzalez. Then it's number 24, the catcher Alec Jones. Batting 8th, wearing number 9, the shortstop Richie Morales. Batting 9th, number 1, the center fielder Julian Alvarez. And on the mound tonight for the Saints, wearing number 50, Peyton Carriaco. Now, ladies and gentlemen, the starting lineup for your San Luis Obispo Blues. Leading off, wearing number 2, the center fielder Nin Burns II. And it's number 24, the shortstop Theo Hardy. Batting third, number 39, the second baseman Sam DiCarlo. Batting fourth, wearing number 17, the designated hitter Justin Trimble. Batting fifth, number 43, the right fielder Giovanni Blanchette. And it's number 10, the catcher Matt Spear. He's followed up by number 5, the first baseman Zach Tollerman. Batting 8th tonight for the Blues, wearing number 15, playing third base, Augusto Schroeder. And batting 9th, number 25, the left fielder, Jacob Ruley. On the mound tonight for the Blues, your starting pitcher, the right-hander from USC, wearing number 34, Fisher Johnson. The Blues are led by Dean Trainer, assisted by Steve Tolley, Brian Trainer, Renee Regalado, and Max Glover. And as I mentioned earlier on the field today, the Blues Buddies are the Barrels softball team. Ladies and gentlemen, it is time now for our national anthem. And singing the anthem for us today, Ileana Nunley. We would ask you at this time to please stand and remove your caps. Ileana?
Oh, say can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet?
Beautiful rendition of the national anthem sung by Eliana Nunley here at Sinsheimer Stadium, and that means we're just about ready for baseball here at Sinsheimer. The Blues at home for the first time in 9 days, taking on the Arroyo Seco Saints, the CCL South foe, in Game 1 of this 2-game series. We get ready here for baseball as Fisher Johnson starts to warm up. Here's the lineup he'll be facing for Arroyo Seco. It's Blessinger. Max Blessinger, the right fielder from Belmont, leads things off. Kite McDonald, the left fielder from Wichita State, hits second. In fact, 3 straight Wichita State shockers at 2-3-4. It's Alex Burge, the designated hitter, and Jack Little, the third baseman, all from Wichita State, 2-3-4. Jack Hammond, the first baseman from Long Beach State, hits fifth. Roberto Gonzalez, the second baseman from Cal State Northridge, is in the sixth spot. Alec Jones catches from Cincinnati and bats seventh. Richie Morales plays shortstop from Arizona. He bats eighth. And Julian Alvarez, the 9-hole hitter center fielder from Cal Baptist. On the mound for the Blues, it's Fisher Johnson, the righty from USC. 2 earned runs in 4 innings pitched last week in his first start with the Blues against the Oaks. Got a loss, gave up just 4 hits and 2 walks, but looked sharp after a tough first inning, and now he gets his second start for Dean Traynor. Johnson warming up here in the first inning. We're going to step away and come back for first pitch on the SLO Blues streaming network. For first pitch here on the SLO Blues streaming network as Johnson stares in at 1-2-3 in this Arroyo Seco Saints order, starting with Max Blessinger, the right fielder from Belmont. Johnson's first pitch, and Blessinger takes it outside, 1 ball and no strikes. We thank you for joining us on the SLO Blues streaming network. A 1 ball, no strike count here after 1 pitch at Sinsheimer Stadium. Blessinger, who's hitting .364, looks out at Johnson. From the stretch, Blessinger tags it back, 1 ball and 1 strike. First pitch was late today, 6:08 p.m. on a beautiful 65-degree day here in San Luis Obispo. Not a single cloud in the sky. Completely blue, as the Blues are happy to return home to this gorgeous California weather. 1-1 is outside, 2 balls and 1 strike. Well, the Blues left San Luis Obispo at a good time. It was kind of gloomy while they were playing in Southern California. Beautiful weather in Orange County, about 80 degrees. And the weather has followed him back. Blessinger popped up. McDonald struck out. And there's 2 outs with nobody aboard. Here the third batter and the second straight Wichita State shocker, Burge the DH, who's hitting .267. Of his hits, 4 of them for extra bases. 2 triples, 2 home runs. A lot of power on the left-hand bat. 2-0. That's on the inside corner. 2 balls and 1 strike. Late call behind home plate, but strike number 1 from Johnson, who works from the stretch. Reliever this past year at USC, trying to make the transition to starter, his second start with the Blues. 2-1 on the way. And Burge taps it foul, 2 balls and 2 strikes. So Johnson can achieve the 1-2-3 inning, 1 strike away from getting the Blues up in the bottom of the first. Johnson peers in at his sign, spear behind the plate. He's got the sign he wants, he kicks and deals. And Burge bends back out of the way of the slider. 3 balls and 2 strikes. On deck, if Burge were to reach, it's Jack Little, the third baseman from Wichita State, who leads the team in runs batted in. Here's the 3-2. Burge strikes out swinging. 2 Ks in the first for Johnson, who gives a little stare down as he leaves the mound, as the Arroyo Seco Saints go 1-2-3. Blues are coming up. It'll be Burns, Hardy, and DiCarlo when we come back on the SLO Blues streaming network. In Burns to lead things off. He's been out of the lineup for the past 4 days for the Blues as he takes a fastball in there, strike one. No balls and one strike. The left-hander Peyton Cariaco, a 0 ERA and 4 innings pitched so far this summer with 8 strikeouts. He deals to Burns. Burns takes it outside. 1 ball and 1 strike. Burns had played in every single game for the Blues before they traveled to Conejo, and he didn't play in either 2 games against the Oaks or the games against the Riptide. He's back in the lineup here at home, and he swings and misses at that fastball. 1 ball and 2 strikes. Cariaco, the lefty, comes home, and Burns rolls it on the ground foul past the third base bag, still 1-2. Burns, 286 hitter so far in CCL play, has the 2 walks, but the sample size is small after he missed these past 4 games on the road trip. 1-2. And Burns wraps it on the ground toward short, takes a high hop on Morales, who throws and gets the out. So 1 away, and here's Theo Hardy. Hardy had a fantastic week on the road. A .667 batting average in his first 4 games with the Blues. A double, 3 runs batted in, included that insane game against the Riptide where he went 5 for 5, almost just won the game offensively for the Blues himself. The 0-0, he takes the changeup low. It's 1 ball and no strikes. Hardy from San Jose State, all Mountain West first teamer this past year for the Spartans. Cariaco delivers, and Hardy pops it foul, back and out of play. 1 ball and 1 strike as you see it bounce in front of your screen, hit off the facing of the press box. As Hardy's got a vendetta against us up here, trying to take it out on the baseball. 1 ball and 1 strike. One and 1. And Hardy rolls it foul down the third base line. 1 ball and 2 strikes. Hardy had that 5 for 5 day, walked 3 times the next day, and there was a stretch where he had reached base in 9 of his first 10 plate appearances for the Blues. You just could not get him out. He's continued that through the entire road trip, and the Blues hope it sticks here at home. 6 for 9 with 5 walks. 1-2. And he pokes it into center field on a soft liner. Out goes Gonzalez, the second baseman, and he's got room to make the catch. So Hardy's retired in his first at-bat here at Sinsheimer Stadium, and now the batter will be Sam DiCarlo. So a home debut for Hardy, and now another home debut for Sam DiCarlo. A California kid hailing from Long Beach. Went to play his freshman year at the University of Washington, and now gets to play his first game here at Sinsheimer Stadium. Cariaco with 2 outs, bent over windup. He kicks and deals and spots up outside with a changeup. No balls and 1 strike. DiCarlo hit .222 in the 2 games that he played so far. That's 2 for 9. One of the hits, a huge home run to left field against the Oaks. 0-1. And he watches that one outside. 1 ball and 1 strike. DiCarlo, the most at-bats of any freshman at the University of Washington this past year. 1-1 on the way. And DiCarlo watches it inside. 2 balls and 1 strike. If DiCarlo can reach, we'll see another debut. Justin Trimble, the left-handed hitting designated hitter from UCSB, stands on deck. Played for the Blues last year, but just arrived to the team here a couple days ago. 2-1. And DiCarlo fouls it off the catcher Jones. 2 balls and 2 strikes. Cariaco, 6'1", 222-pound left-hander from Kent State. Now, the big standout for him so far through CCL play. Hasn't given up a run, sure. 4 innings, he's got 8 strikeouts, averaging 2 strikeouts an inning over his first 4 innings pitched. As a huge crowd files in here at Sinsheimer Stadium for this Tuesday matchup, a 2-2 count with 2 outs. Cariaco comes home, And DiCarlo rolls it on the ground into the hole at short. Backhand play by Morales. Long throw, not in time. DiCarlo beats it out, and he's got the Blues' first hit. There's a runner at first with 2 away. So DiCarlo picks up his first home hit, and we will see the debut. It's Justin Trimble coming to the plate from UCSB. Second-year Blue making his first appearance this year. Trimble last year for the Blues was a high school player, had 6 hits in 30 at-bats. Good for a .200 average. Struck out 12 times. Had 4 runs batted in with 1 extra base hit. That was a double as he played as a temporary player early on in the summer. With DiCarlo leading off first, Trimble takes a fastball from the lefty. No balls and 1 strike. Trimble has played in 29 games across 2 seasons for the UCSB Gauchos. This past year, got 25 at-bats, had 5 hits. 2 of them were home runs. 0-1. That's outside. 1 ball and 1 strike. In fact, of the 6 hits that Trimble has at the collegiate level, 3 of them have been home runs. Just insane power from the lefty, and now you understand why Dean Traynor has him in the cleanup spot in just his first game. 1-1. And Trimble swings and misses at the slider. 1 ball and 2 strikes. Burns popped out. Hardy grounded out. Then Sam DiCarlo picked up an infield single. He stands at first with 2 outs and 2 strikes on Trimble. The pitch. And Trimble grounds it up the middle. Going to his right is the second baseman Gonzalez. He underhand flips to second base for the out. So the Blues pick up a hit, but no one scores as DiCarlo's forced out at second. We head to the top of the second inning. It is 0-0 on the SLO Blues streaming network. We welcome you back to Sinsheimer Stadium on the SLO Blues streaming network. A scoreless first for both teams, and Fisher Johnson, who worked a 1-2-3 inning, is back out for the second. 2 strikeouts for Johnson, who normally isn't a strikeout pitcher, but got 2 Ks to end the frame, and now he faces 4-5-6, Jack Little, Jack Hammond, and Roberto Gonzalez. Johnson deals 0-0, and Jack Little takes a fastball for a strike, 0-1. Johnson this past year at USC, as we talked about, was a reliever transitioning to a starter, had a 6.1 ERA and 41.1 innings pitched. 0-1. And Little ropes it into left field, base hit. So the 4-hole hitter comes up, and he's the first base runner for the Saints here today. With nobody out, there's 1 aboard. Little came into today the RBI leader for the Saints, and now he's their first base runner. The batter now will be Jack Hammond, making his first start for the Saints, heading to Long Beach State. Hammond strides in, right-hand batter's box with a runner at first and nobody out. As Johnson kicks and deals, and Hammond takes it outside. It bounces off of Spear. And moving up to second base is Little, runner in scoring position with nobody out for the Saints. That'll go down as a wild pitch by Johnson. Just threw it a little too far in that left-hand batter's box. Spear couldn't keep it in front. And now an RBI opportunity for the Saints, trying to take the lead here first and hope to win their 3rd straight road game in CCL play. 1-0. That's in there on the slider. 1 ball and 1 strike. Johnson, the ERA doesn't exactly reflect how well he pitched at USC. He was a Swiss Army knife of an arm, and a couple bad appearances kind of skewed the ERA a little bit. As he prepares the 1-1, here it comes. And Hammond takes it outside. 2 balls and 1 strike. In total, 45 hits allowed in 41 1/3. Not many walks, just 11 in those innings, but not many strikeouts either, only 18. So he pitches to contact, and sometimes that can prove to be a little volatile, as he would have some innings where the ground balls would just get through. As Hammond pokes into center field, a second straight hit. Nin Burns coming up with a cannon. Held at third is Little. First and third, nobody out for the Saints. So back-to-back line drive hits for Arroyo Seco, and they're in business here in the second inning. Johnson's got his work to do with Roberto Gonzalez coming up. So Roberto Gonzalez from CSUN, 1 for 9 in CCL play. He's got a job to do to just bring in at least 1 run here. 2 runners on, nobody out for the Blues here in the second inning. Johnson comes home and misses outside. It's 1 ball and no strikes. First and third, the Blues have the corners in. As taking off for second is Hammond. The pitch is high. That's a stolen base. There's 2 runners on, and both are in scoring position with nobody out. 2 balls and no strikes to count, as now the Saints want to make this a big inning against Fisher Johnson. Still corners in for the Blues. Middle back, 2-0. As that is low, 3 balls and no strikes. Johnson gave up 4 hits, walked 2 in those 4 innings against Conejo last week. Exactly a week ago today, he threw in the first game of that series on Tuesday. In danger of walking his first batter here, loading the bases with nobody out. Johnson sets at the belt, now kicks and deals. That fastball a little bit high and outside. 4 straight out of the zone from Fisher Johnson, and the bases are juiced. Johnson just mowed through the Saints in the first inning, pop out, and then 2 straight strikeouts. But here he's allowed 2 hits, walked a batter, and the bases are loaded for Alec Jones, the catcher. If I was Matt Spear, this would be the time to go talk with Johnson, the righty from Aptos. Try and settle him down a bit. He's got some big pitches to make for the rest of this inning. Bases loaded, nobody out. Jones, 2 for 19 on the summer from Cincinnati. He grounds it to third. Augusto Schroeder will step on his base, throw low across the diamond, scooped out by Tollerman at first. A double play for the Blues. A run comes in to score. It's 1-0. Well, that's a weird play for Schroeder. Not hit hard enough that he can come home with it, but he stepped on his bag, had no momentum with his throw because his back foot was planted on the base, and just managed to release it a little low. It bounced enough times that Tollerman had an easy scoop. And I think if you're Fisher Johnson, you'll easily trade 2 outs for 1 run, but the Saints have a lead, and now the batter, Richie Morales. The Little scores the run. Hammond out at third, and now Roberto Gonzalez is at second. The batter, Alec Jones, takes that outside. 1 ball and no strikes. This is Richie Morales, the shortstop from Arizona. 2 for 14 so far this summer. One of those hits a double. Saints on top first here at Sinsheimer Stadium, as that slider is on the outside corner. 1 ball and 1 strike. But if you're Johnson, not the dream scenario, but it's definitely one of them, where you get the double play, only 1 run comes in to score, and now he can end this inning just a couple more pitches and allow just the 1 run. His fastball is outside, 2 balls and 1 strike. Richie Morales heading to Arizona next year, the shortstop. Going to play in Tucson, and he's got a chance here to add another run for Arroyo Seco. 2 balls, 1 strike to count with a runner at second. That's Roberto Gonzalez, the second baseman. 2-1. It's outside on the slider. 3 balls and 1 strike. Is Johnson, that's normally his out pitch. That's the one he'll go to often, the slider, and he's just not controlling it today. At least so far in this game, he's gotten the strikeouts on the fastball, and the slider just has not had the same Johnson-level control. 3-1 on the way. That's low and outside. 2 walks in the inning, and now 2 runners on again with 2 outs. So Johnson takes a walk with himself a little bit, takes the hat off, readjusts himself. He still needs to find a way to get the 3rd out here in the 2nd. He's allowed 2 hits. He's walked 2. And the 1 grounder he gave up turned into a double play that scored a run for the Saints. Gonzalez is at second, Morales at first. 2 walks here in the inning, equaling the amount that Johnson walked against Conejo in 4 innings as he misses outside with his 5th straight. 1 ball and no strikes. We talked about Johnson at USC. Lots of control. Didn't walk guys. Pitch to contact. The contact he's given up in this inning has been loud, and he's been walking more guys than normal. 1-0. Swing and a miss as Alvarez fans through the high fastball. 1 ball and 1 strike. Alvarez, a .208 hitter so far this summer. Of his hits, 2 of them extra bases, a double and a triple to his name. 1-1. Alvarez ropes it on the ground to second. DiCarlo has it bounce off his glove and into right field. Coming up throwing is Blanchette. His delivery to the plate bounces high, and a run comes in to score. It's 2-0 Arroyo Seco on the error by Sam DiCarlo at second. What could have been a ground ball to get out of the inning turns into another Saint run. DiCarlo had his glove on the ball, and it just rolled through it right into right field. And Blanchette didn't have the ability to throw out the runner. 2 hits in inning, 2 walks, and the error is the one that allows another run. And Johnson back to the top of the order, now has to get out Max Blessinger. The pitch, and Blessinger takes a slider outside. On the zone, though. No balls and 1 strike. Blessinger popped out to center to lead off the game. It was shallow center field. We weren't sure who was going to get it, DiCarlo or Burns, but Burns is too fast to let the second baseman make the play as Johnson picks over, and back in safe is Alvarez. So Gonzalez scored on the error. Morales is at third with Alvarez at first. Saints have jumped up to a 2-0 lead here in the 2nd inning and threaten for more. Johnson steps off as Alvarez was dancing off the bag at first. Still got to come home. 0-1 to Max Blessinger, the right fielder from Belmont. The 0-1 pitch. Blessinger takes the slider at the top of the zone. It's quickly no balls and 2 strikes. So Johnson has had a rough inning. He's laboring through it. Just a strike away from getting out of it, but the Saints want to add 1 more after already scoring 2 here in this frame. Johnson strides and shoots, and that's wrapped on the ground. 2 hops, it bounces off the leather of Hardy. Another error for the Blues, and the Saints come in to score. It's 3-0. Back-to-back errors for San Luis Obispo as Johnson can't get out of the inning. It's 3-0 Arroyo Seco, and the inning's still going. Hardy made an error against Orange County. He's normally so sure-handed at shortstop. Played every single game there for San Jose State, but he's made a couple of miscues in the field for the Blues so far. And the middle infield dropping 2 straight grounders for Johnson. And now the 2-0 hitter, Kite McDonald, skies it to center. Can't drop a grounder on a fly ball. And then Burns makes the catch. 3 runs for the Saints on 2 hits, 2 walks, and 2 Blues errors. We head to the bottom of the 2nd. It's 3-0 on the SLO Blues streaming network. so far have looked like a team that had to go on the road for 4 games last week. They've been sloppy here to start it at Sinsheimer Stadium, and they're trailing by 3 in the bottom of the second. The offense has the work cut out for them, and they'll bring up Giovanni Blanchette, Matt Spear, and Zach Tollerman here bottom 2 against the Arroyo Seco Saints, a team that the Blues were really good against last year. Of the 6 games they played against Arroyo Seco, San Luis Obispo won 5. Still finished below him in the standings as Blanchette lifts a high fly ball down the left field line, and it bounces foul just in between McDonald, the left fielder, and Little, the third baseman. Blanchette's at second, and now he's realizing it's a foul ball. He thought he had a double, and Blanchette now has to retreat. He's going to walk right past the mound and pick up his bat. No balls and 1 strike. Last year, the Saints did finish above the Blues in the standings, despite how dominant San Luis Obispo was against Arroyo Seco. It was a summer to forget for the Blues, but the Saints were one of the teams they handled well. As we talked last week about how well Conejo and Orange County played against the Blues respectively, this is a team that the Blues really had their number last summer. 0-1 on Blanchette, and he swings and misses at the changeup. No balls and 2 strikes. Carriaco gave up the single to DiCarlo in the first, but then got the fielder's choice to end the inning. Faced just 1 over the minimum, and here he's looking for his first out of the second. 0-2 on the way, and Blanchette takes it outside. 1 ball and 2 strikes. Giovanni came back against the Oaks after missing 11 straight days with a shoulder injury. He's played 2 games since then, and he's hitting the ball well. He's really seeing it as a real big ball, beach ball, basketball, whatever you want to call it. But he swings and misses here for the first down. Blanchette had that 3 RBI double that you could say won the Blues the game against the Riptide. Since returning in those 2 games, he was 3 for 9 before that strikeout. So Matt Spear steps up, the left-handed hitting catcher. Has a home run in a couple of games played for the Blues so far. Still trying to find that efficient hitting stroke as he takes that pitch up high. 1 ball and no strikes. Spear this past year at San Jose State, 247 average, had 42 hits, 170 at-bats. 5 of them were home runs. 1-0. As he inside outs a little weak ground ball to short. This is a tough play for Morales, and he boots it into left field. The third baseman, Little, slipped a little bit as he was moving for that ball, and Morales had to make the play himself. Couldn't do it, and Spears aboard with a single. That's a weird swing off the bat. It was on the hands of Spear on almost a soft line drive to the left side, more like a weak ground ball, but Little, the third baseman, slipped as I think he didn't read it well off the bat, and Morales had no chance once it got by Little, the third baseman. Here's Zach Tollerman, the right-handed hitting first baseman from Cuesta College. Tollerman takes low. 1 ball and no strikes. Tollerman's 1 for 7 in league play. Did not play in the games against Orange County. His high school teammate, Matt Spear, leads off first, the 1-0. And Tollerman takes the fastball inside. 2 balls and no strikes. Blues looking to win their 3rd straight for the first time this summer. League play, non-league play, the Blues have not won 3 in a row at any point this summer, and they'd love to do it here in front of this home crowd. 2-0. Tollerman checks his swing and takes the changeup low. 3 balls and no strikes. He didn't go around. And now a walk would put a runner in scoring position for the Blues, who have some answering to do after the Saints scored 3 runs in the top of this frame. On deck, Augusto Schroeder. 3-0. Tollerman takes strike 1 on the inside corner. Zach, the Western State Conference Player of the Year this last year at Cuesta College. A .367 average, on-base percentage squarely at .500. Carriaco deals and picks to first. Back there is Spear. 3 balls and 1 strike still on Tollerman. Three and 1 the count on Tollerman. Bent in the back of the box, waiting for the pitch. 3-1. And Tollerman takes the changeup that bends over that inside corner. Beautiful pitch from Carriaco, and the count is full. So full count offering on the way as Carriaco bends over, rocks the baby, and comes set. Payoff on the way. Tollerman lines it into left field, base hit. Cutting it off in the gap is McDonald as Spear takes a big turner around second. He heads back to the bag, back pick there. Not in time, a hit on a bases on a full count opportunity for Zach Tollerman. And there's first and second with one out. That's just Tollerman's second hit in CCL play. He'd been struggling up to that point. Some strikeouts had plagued him a little bit in the games against Santa Barbara and Conejo, but he's back in the lineup today, and he rewards Dean Traynor with a base hit here in the second. And the batter will be Augusto Schroeder. We've talked about some guys that haven't played in a while, like Nin Burns, Giovanni Blanchetti, who had to take some time off, but maybe no one has taken more time off than Augusto Schroeder. He hasn't played a single league game as he swings and misses here. No balls and one strike. After going 2 for 18 in non-league play, Schroeder out of the lineup for Dean Traynor through the team's first 6 CCL games, but now he's back in there, and it's a big spot. First and second with one out. 2 straight hits for the Blues. Schroeder wants to keep the chain moving as he swings at the 0-1, grounds it into left field, base hit. Spear, the catcher, is getting waved home. Now he heads back. The tag, they got him at third as Morales corralled the ball in left. Morales, that ball looked like it was headed, destined for left field, and Morales somehow was able to collect it before it got to the left fielder, McDonald, and back-picked Matt Spear. Everyone here, including Blues third base coach Steve Tolley, thought that ball was in left, and Spear back-picked on the hit from Schroeder. I don't know how Morales kept that on the infield. And now everything stands up to Jacob Ruley, the left fielder from Cal State Bakersfield here in the second. So Schroeder gets credit with the hit, but could not bring in the run as the Blues didn't read the ground ball correctly. No balls and one strike on Ruley. Morales, just a miraculous play to keep that from going into left field. He dove at the last second to keep it in. Carriaco needs one more out. He deals outside to Ruley, 1 ball and 1 strike. On deck is Nin Burns, the second, the leadoff hitter from Cal Poly Pomona. Ruley, a 400 hitter so far in league play. 4 walks, 2 runs batted in. Got some standing out there if he can dunk one in the outfield this time. 1-1. Ruley beats it foul off the netting. 1 ball and 2 strikes. It's Tollerman at second with decent speed. Augusto Schroeder, who runs pretty well at first. In his first league at bat, Schroeder with his first hit. But no run batted in as Spear was back-picked. 1-2 the count. Carriaco pins his glove on his front shoulder as he reaches for his sign. He's got it. He comes home, and Ruley takes it low. 2 balls and 2 strikes. Blues trail by 3. After a good inning for the Arroyo Seco Saints, a poor defensive inning for the Blues as the Saints, 2 hits, 2 walks. The Blues had 2 errors that allowed the Saints to get on the board. 2-2. Ruley rolls it to short. Here's Morales. He underhand flips to Gonzalez for the out. Through 2 innings, it's 3-0 as the Blues can't capitalize on the hits. 3 hits in the inning, no runs scored. It's 3-0 Saints as we head to the top of the third. Top side of the third inning. Here at Sinsheimer Stadium, the Blues back at home, and they are back trailing the Arroyo Seco Saints 3-0 the score here in the top of the third. As Fisher Johnson stays out, he'll face 3, 4, 5 in the Saints order. Alex Burge, Jack Little, and then Jack Hammond. Johnson allowed 2 hits, 2 walks last inning. 2 errors behind him on defense allowed the Saints to score 3 runs. As Burge takes that for strike 1. No balls and 1 strike. 0-1 the count on Burge, who struck out to end the first inning. He takes low, 1 ball and 1 strike. Burge, 2 triples, 2 home runs. He's been the biggest source of power for the Saints so far this season, who are 2-5 in league play. One. Burge takes it outside, 2 balls and 1 strike. The Saints started 0-3, then they've lost 2 straight as well. Those are their 5 losses. The 2 losses recently, the Barons, who have just 1 win in league play, and the Riptide, who the Blues swept on the road this past week. The count moves to 3 balls and 1 strike. The Saints have struggled so far in league play, and they're the only team that Academy, the Barons, have beat so far this year. 3-1. That's outside. So Johnson's got his 3rd walk. That's more than the entire start against Conejo. There's a runner aboard here with nobody out in the top of the 3rd inning. Johnson's known for his control. That's what he was so good at USC. Pitch to contact. Gave up some hits, but never issued the free 90s. He's allowed in just 2 innings and a couple pitches more than a quarter of his walks through 40-plus innings at USC this year. 0-0 on Jack Little, and Little takes it outside. 1 ball and no strikes. Johnson used to coming out of the pen, so maybe there's something to be said about a change in routine for the reliever who's trying to be a starter for USC this next year. He just has not had his command so far in this game. Trying to reel it in with Jack Little, who singled and scored in his first at-bat. As he checks over on Burge, who's back in safe. Jack Little hitting over 300 from Wichita State, the 3rd baseman. A home run, 7 runs batted in. The 1-0 from Johnson. And Little takes it low, and it bounces to the backstop. Spear has to chase it as Burge took a big turnaround second, but stops there. The wild pitch from Johnson. It's 2 balls and no strikes. There's a runner in scoring position. So another wild pitch from Johnson, and just not, it's the fastball and the slider. Sometimes you lose command on one pitch. Right now, Johnson doesn't have it for either of his 2 main pitches, the fastball and the slider. 2-0. That fastball's perfect on the outside corner. 2 balls and 1 strike. And Johnson will try and replicate that. That fastball could not have been placed in a better spot on that outside corner. 2 balls and 1 strike. The 2-1. Chop towards short. It bounces off Hardy into left field. A high hop as the shortstop from San Jose State couldn't corral it. Another run in on the Blues' 3rd error. It's 4-0 Arroyo Seco as the Blues middle infield has just not been able to get these ground balls. Another run comes in to score for the Saints. That was a tough hop for Hardy, but it hit him in the leather right in the web, and it bounced into left field. Now a runner at first with nobody out, and the batter will be Jack Hammond. 2nd error for Hardy today. Sam DiCarlo, the 2nd baseman, has one as well. Hammond takes outside, 1 ball and no strikes. Jack Hammond from Long Beach State making his first start. Singled in his first at-bat. That was back in the 2nd inning. 1-0. Hammond takes the slider for strike 1. 1 ball and 1 strike as that pitch squarely on the outside corner. So 3 runs in the 2nd for the Saints. They've added another here in the 3rd on just 2 batters. The walk in the air. 2 things Dean Traynor has to be shaking his head about in the dugout. Pick to first. Back in time is Little. So Burge walked to start the inning, advanced on the wild pitch, and then came around to score on the E6 by Hardy. Hammond heading to be a Long Beach State dirtbag next year in his first game here today with the Saints. 1-1, runner on the move. The pitch is inside. The throw from Spear is wide. That's a stolen base for Little. Another runner in scoring position for Arroyo Seco. Well, the Blues aren't playing their best baseball today, and so far early on, the Saints are taking full advantage. They've scored 4 runs already. They're running well, just stealing bases, getting in on the errors. This is not the start you want for the Blues, who are returning home for the first time in 9 days. Oh, well. The 2-1 is on the outside corner. 2 balls and 2 strikes. The scoreboard reset here at Sinsheimer Stadium, but 2 balls and 2 strikes the count. Hammond in his first start trying to come through with his second hit. So he takes outside. 3 balls and 2 strikes. Still an empty bullpen for the Blues, so Johnson's got a long leash, it seems. The Blues not starved for pitching as much as they were last week, but certainly can't afford to burn through all their arms today. Payoff on the way. Swing and a miss. The third strikeout from Johnson is the first out here in the third. There's one away. So Hammond K's, and the batter will be Roberto Gonzalez, who walked and scored his first time up. There's still a runner on second for Arroyo Seco. That's Jack Little, who reached on the air. 4-0 Arroyo Seco. Gonzalez from Cal State Northridge, the second baseman, 1 for 9 so far this summer, walked his first at bat. He squares to bunt and takes it low. Nice stop by Spear to keep Little at second. One ball and no strikes on the left-handed hitting second baseman. One out. That's outside. 2 balls and no strikes. Johnson just trying to find a way to continue to get outs. He's given up ground balls. You could argue he should have 3 more outs than he's gotten with the 2 errors by Hardy, the 1 error by DiCarlo. But for a ground ball pitcher, it's got to be hard when you've seen your defense make errors behind you. As they count 3 balls and no strikes now. On deck is Alec Jones, who grounded into a double play his first time up. Three balls, no strikes the count with 1 out. Here's the pitch. That is low and inside. It's a 4-pitch walk for Johnson, his 4th. And now there's runners at first and second with 1 away. 4 walks and just 7 outs for Johnson. And you wonder at some point, is someone going to go out and talk with him? Spear has stayed behind the plate. Dean Traynor is staying in the dugout. There's been no chat with Johnson. They're just letting him stay out on the mound. But 4 walks already. He only had 2 in 4 innings against Conejo. So the batter will be Alec Jones in a similar spot. Bases loaded, nobody out. Johnson got Jones to ground into a double play last inning. And he starts him off with a slider on the black on the outside corner. No balls and 1 strike. So Johnson, only 11 walks and 41 in the 3rd innings at USC. He's got 4 and 2 in the 3rd innings here today. Both runners dance, and the 0-1 is another perfect slider. No balls and 2 strikes. Johnson does have 3 strikeouts. He struck out Hammond in this inning, struck out McDonald and Burge in the first. He'd love one here. This is another strikeout spot unless he can roll another ground ball. The 0-2. That's upstairs. 1 ball and 2 strikes. Jones from Cincinnati, the Bearcat catcher. 2 for 20 now in league play. He has, though, both those hits were doubles. So a little bit of a stroke of power. Johnson kicks and deals. And Jones takes it outside. 2 balls and 2 strikes. Nate Mills will join me in the next half inning to talk Blues. We'll get to hear his opinions, commentary on the Blues for the first time. It feels like a couple of weeks with the Blues being on the road for so long. It'll be nice to have Nate join us back in the booth. 2 balls and 2 strikes to count here on Alec Jones. The pitch. Jones strikes out swinging. Johnson's 4th K is the second out here in the 3rd. And just like that, there's 2 away. So Jones strikes out, and here's Richie Morales, the shortstop from Arizona. A walk and a run scored back in the 2nd. Oh, well. That's in the dirt, and it bounces off of Spear into the backstop. Spear goes to collect it as both runners advance, 2nd and 3rd with 2 outs. Another wild pitch for Johnson. That's his 3rd of the day to go along with the 4 walks, and it allows both runners to advance into scoring position and a 1-0 count. Richie Morales heading to Arizona next year, 2 for 14 with the walk as well in the 1st. 1-0. And Morales takes the slider on the outside corner. Right now, Johnson has more command with the slider than the fastball. That might be what he goes to for the rest of this at-bat, to just try and will his way through this inning. I mean, he'd love to keep it just a 4-0 deficit for San Luis Obispo. 1-1. There's another slider poked on the ground through the legs of Tollerman into shallow right field. DiCarlo collects it. He throws to home. A 1-hopper off the glove of Spear, and 2 more runs score. It's 6-0 on yet another error for the Blues, as Tollerman, this time the culprit, and it bounced into right field off his glove. DiCarlo, a great effort to try and get the run at home, but then Spear couldn't glove it. 6 runs for the Saints on 4 errors for the Blues. And Spear won't get an error there either, but that was a play that, as a catcher, you need to make here to stop the bleeding. It was a perfect throw from DiCarlo on 1 hop. Didn't short hop him, just a long hop. He couldn't make the play. 6-0 as another runner on the move. High fly ball to center. Burns on his horse, and he makes the catch at the last second. 3 more runs for the Saints. It's 6-0 as we head to the bottom of the 3rd. Top of the order for the Blues, who have their work cut out for them on offense. It is 6-0 Arroyo Seco after just 2.5 innings here at Sinsheimer Stadium. Nin Burns, Theo Hardy, Sam DiCarlo due up, trying to just carve away at this deficit. 6 runs the Blues trail by after just 3 offensive innings for the Saints. And it hasn't even been the hitting for Arroyo Seco. They've got 2 hits, but 4 errors already for the Blues on the infield. Burns takes it low, 2 balls and no strikes. In just 2 innings on offense, the Blues have more hits than the Saints. 4 hits for the Blues, no runs. 2 hits, 6 runs for the Saints. 2-0. And Burns chops it on the ground towards first. It comes up on Hammond, bounces off his glove. Burns races to the bag, and he's beat out. Burns thought he beat out the throw, but the pitcher, Cariaco, got over in time for the first out. Burns, we know how fast he is. Just was a terror on the base paths early on for the Blues in the summer, and he's got the kind of speed you can beat out a little bobble at first base, but does not quite here to start the third inning. And with one out, the batter will be Theo Hardy. Switch hitting shortstop, batting right-handed. Hardy grounded out to short in his first at-bat. Cariaco sets at the belt, front foot offset, kicks and deals. And Hardy has to bend back out of the way of that one. 1 ball and no strikes. Cariaco from Kent State. The lefty sets at his belt, but before that he does the pin. It almost looks like he's rocking a baby to sleep below his belt and then comes set eventually. Misses to make the count. 2 balls and no strikes there. But you can see when he comes set, the front foot is completely offset in front of his back leg. Kind of a crossover step to come home, as he does, and spots up on the inside corner. 2 balls and 1 strike. Hardy, we heard a little bit of a rumbling, maybe going to be announced tomorrow as the CCL Player of the Week. He was that good last week for the Blues. A 5-for-5 day was the highlight as he lines it right towards the second baseman Gonzalez for the second out. Soft liner off the bat of Hardy is out number 2, and the batter will be Sam DiCarlo. Hardy retired twice. Sam DiCarlo coming up. DiCarlo has one of the 4 hits for the Blues so far. A single back in the first. He just hit it into the hole on a weird spinning hop, and Morales got the ball but couldn't make the throw in time as DiCarlo beat it out. There's a strike, 0-1. DiCarlo, the freshman from UW, has hit a homer already for the Blues, continuing his streak of hitting the long ball, carrying over from the NCAA tournament, as that's foul. No balls and 2 strikes. DiCarlo hit 2 home runs in 1 NCAA regional game versus Oral Roberts. Oral Roberts, a team that ended up winning that regional and heading to Omaha. So DiCarlo got it done against one of the best teams in the sport this year, and in his first game with the Blues, launched a home run to left. Oh, 2. And DiCarlo pops it up. Shallow right field. Who's it going to be? Blessinger comes in. The second baseman, Gonzalez, dives and makes a miraculous catch. The pop-up dance turned into a wicked dive, and Gonzalez brings it in for the third out. Through 3 innings, it's 6-0 Arroyo Seco. We're back on the SLO Blues streaming network, back with Nate Mills. Nate, it feels like it's been a week, and also what's something we haven't done in a long time, food reviews at Sinsheimer Stadium. We didn't forget, and we've got more food. Nate, why don't you introduce the 2 items we have today, 2 tacos from Old SLO Barbecue.
Yeah, I'm here to bring some good vibes only today, and I think we're going to start that off by showing these delicious tacos from Old SLO Barbecue. We got the tri-tip one right here. Just take a look at the cheese and the meat in there. Also got a carnitas one on deck, so we're going to be trying that this inning.
There's a liner to shallow left, and reaching to start the inning is Julian Alvarez, the 9-hole hitter for the Saints. If you look at the score, it is 6-0 Saints here in the top of the 4th inning. Nate Mills takes a bite of the taco, and we thank Old SLO for preparing the food. It's always so good. We tried the hot dog last week, 2 weeks ago, and now we got the tacos. And Nate, as you prepare your verdict, up steps Max Blessinger, or Kite McDonald, the left fielder. McDonald bounces it on the ground towards second. This could be a double play. DeCarlo, the underhand flip, throw to first is not in time as the Blues get 1 but not 2, and there is 1 out here in the inning. So the lead runner gunned down by the Blues, and with 1 out, we'll switch it back. Nate, thoughts on the tacos?
Yeah, an update on the taco here. I've only had the tri-tip one. It's very good. It's the classic Santa Maria barbecue mixed in with the tortilla. It's excellent. The cheese is classic as well. We're going to dive into the carnitas now.
Let's get a bite on Cam.
All right, here we go.
So Alex Burge steps up now, designated hitter from Wichita State, as a back pick to first, and they got him. Kite McDonald picked off first base for the 2nd out, as Johnson wants to speed up the food review as quick as possible. These always happen in the most chaotic innings.
I couldn't provide analysis on time. I was chewing the carnitas, which personally, I know the tri-tip is the fan favorite, and understandably so, but personally, I think the carnitas is a little better. This is very good also.
With 1 out, or 2 outs now after the pickoff, there's a ball down low. 1 ball and no strikes to Alec Burge. Of course, right in the inning, we decide to review the food. We got a hit, a ground ball, and then a pickoff move. How many of those we've seen all year? You're like, not many successful pickoff moves. 1-0, and Burge takes it low. It's 2 balls and no strikes. What are the highlights of the flavor?
Highlights, I like the hint of the spice in the carnitas. Very good also. The tri-tip, not so much the spice. You don't usually get that in the tri-tip, but it's still good. I like the texture in both. I think texture is important for a lot of people. I think the texture sticks the landing for both tacos.
That smoky barbecue flavor that comes through. Not normally in a taco, but who wouldn't want a barbecue taco?
I'd want to try barbecue sauce. Now, that wasn't at this stand, but I'd be interested to see.
I think it would be good.
Yeah.
3 balls and 1 strike on Burge, who walked his last time up. That was in the 3rd. 3 runs in the 2nd, 3 runs in the 3rd for the Saints, as Johnson trying to get the scoreless inning here in the 4th. And Burge takes the fastball in there, strike 2 called, as the count moves full. Well, Nate, the innings move so quick, I will eat my bites during the break and come back with my review. Johnson comes set, looks in at Burge with a full count. He kicks and deals. Burge pops it up sky high on the infield. Tollerman and DeCarlo converge. Tollerman, the first baseman, is going to come in, and he makes the catch for the final out. It's a 1-2-3 inning the hard way for Fisher Johnson, who goes scoreless in the 4th, 6-0 as we head to the bottom of the 4th inning. back with my official taco verdict. And Nate, while I agree, I think the carnitas is more of the taco you'll normally see, so it's got the taco spice. I think my favorite is the tri-tip, just because you don't normally get a tri-tip in a taco. I'm a big barbecue fan. You put barbecue on a burger, on anything, on a taco, I'm going to like it. So I think the tri-tip, while it is a little more unconventional and doesn't have that same like taco spice, I think that the tri-tip is my favorite because you do get the barbecue with the taco.
Yeah, points for uniqueness. And now I'll throw the question on you. You threw it on me with the dog last time. I'm going to need an out of 10 scale.
An out of 10.
Yeah.
I think their collective score, I'd go around an 8.1 out of 10 for flavor. And I think I'd go a solid 9.7 out of 10 when it comes to just creativity. Because who turns their barbecue into tacos? Not many people.
No.
You normally serve it as, as barbecue, but put it in taco form. I love it.
It works.
And I think there's something to be said, too, about the hard work and dedication it takes to match cheese with barbecue. Because normally you're eating tri-tip, you're eating pulled pork. You're not putting cheese on it, but it works. It really does.
That's why I'm wondering extra if the barbecue sauce would work in that case. You know what I mean?
It does. A strikeout for Trimble is how the bottom of the fourth gets started. The Blues trail it by 6 here in their first home game in 9 days. Not the welcome they wanted on a homecoming game, as the Arroyo Seco has jumped out early on the 4 errors by the Blues. And with Trimble down on strikes, here's Blanchett, who struck out in his first at-bat.
Yeah, now I can talk some ball here. It hasn't been the night that the Blues have been wanting. A lot of errors, a lot of miscues on defense. Not a lot of strikeouts. This is something we've seen all year. They're not a team that strikes out that much. Got to improve on the base running a little bit. I think that costed them a few runs in the second inning. But you can only go up from here. You still got a lot of ball game left in the bottom of the fourth.
Blanchett flies it foul. 1 ball and 1 strike. There's 1 out here in the inning, and this is one of the guys you want at the plate. They call him captain. I don't know if you know that. They call Giovanni Blanchett, especially it really picked up on the road trip, Cap, where he's one of the leaders on this team despite being one of the younger players going into a sophomore year at St. Mary's, but a little more soft-spoken and just shows the way things should be done as he watches that one back to the screen. 2 balls and 1 strike.
Yeah, another good egg coming out of the SLO Blues dugout. A guy who's been here. This is his second year as a SLO Blue, familiar with Sinsheimer and the whole vibe of game day.
And as you pointed out in the YouTube comment section the other day, he's got good peepers.
He does.
So he takes that one outside. 3 balls and 1 strike. Blanchett had missed those 11 days after a shoulder injury. He told us he got a cortisone shot, came back, line drive base hit in the first game, and then came through in a big way for the Blues in his second game back as he rolls this one on the ground foul past third, 3-2. The bases clearing 3 RBI double that helped the Blues clinch the sweep over the Riptide. And with 1 out here in the inning, 3 balls and 2 strikes as the shadows start to creep in over the mound. For the Blues, a team that needs offense, is about the worst time they need it, with the shadows being maybe the worst they're going to be before the sun fully sets. Time is called, and Blanchett steps out. Gio hitting .300 after his strikeout in the second inning. 3-2, and he pops it into center field. This could be another hit. In comes the center fielder, Alvarez. He lays out, and it's by him. Blanchett with a single, rounds first and stops there. 1 runner on with 1 out for the Blues.
Yeah, that's all you need for the Blues offense, just to get something going your way. This is a fastball up and out in the strike zone. Gio goes after it, catches it towards the end of his barrel, bloops it out there in center, forces Alvarez to make a play, comes up a little short. Gio looking 2 maybe there as the ball got past Alvarez, but he stays at first base, and he'll give Matt Spear a shot to move over Blanchett.
So here is Spear, who singled in his first at-bat. That was back in the second inning. And he made, I'm not even sure the base running mistake is on him, but there was a base running mistake where after a couple hits for the Blues, Schroeder hit one, looked like it was going into left field. The dive from the shortstop Morales kept it in play, and Spear was backpicked as he rounded the bag. But he had the wave signal, I feel like everyone on the Blues thought it was into left field. He swings and misses here, no balls and 2 strikes. What, did you see anything when from your position or when he came back to the dugout? I mean, he was getting waved in, and so it's not exactly on him.
Yeah, not a man of many words, Matt Spears, so didn't do a lot of analysis there. But that's always tough as a base runner.
As he goes down swinging, a 3-pitch strikeout of Spear for the second out as Kiriako responds after the hit.
Hey, you're looking at your third base coach, and he could be super animated, waving you home, and you're ready to turn on the Jets. All of a sudden, you see 2 palms shoved in your face, and you got to throw on the brakes and come back. And it's just one of those things where you kind of get stuck right there, and it's kind of no one's fault.
I think you just give credit to Morales, the shortstop, who just made a tremendous play in that situation to keep the ball close at all to the infield. As that one squirts away from the catcher Jones, and Blanchett advances 90 feet. And Tollerman's running to first. He's saying it hit him on the foot. And what's the official ruling here? I didn't see Tollerman get awarded first base, and I don't think the umpires really know either. They're going to chat. It was in the dirt near the feet of Tollerman, and he ran out of the box immediately. Yeah,
as a player, you just take off. If it's anywhere near you, you just become an Academy Award-winning actor, and you take off for first base, even if it didn't hit you. But if it was close, you still do it anyway. And I'm not sure if this did hit him. It didn't look like it did.
He gets told to come out. Now he's going to plead his own case. Now he takes the walk. He'll take the hand protector for base running back off. If it was an acting job, Tollerman's milking it as he walks back from first. But I think you're right. As a hitter, you try and take advantage because you get on base. If you get on base down by 6, good things tend to follow. But instead, it's just the 1 ball, no strike count.
Yeah, and the Blues are just looking for the pendulum to swing back their way. They seem to have sort of had it with that bloop single from Blanchett, and Tollerman just trying to follow suit.
Tollerman singled in the second, his second league hit. He takes that one outside, 2 balls and no strikes. I feel like Tollerman could act. If I'm judging completely subjectively based on which Blues I think could be actors, Tollerman's on the list for sure.
I'd like to see a movie with him starring in it. Maybe a social media post coming soon.
He'd play a mean basketball player, I tell you that. 6'5". 3 balls and no strikes on the first baseman from Cuesta College, with Giovanni Blanchett at second after his single and the wild pitch. 3-0, and Tollerman takes a strike. He's in there to hit, or get hit by a pitch. I don't know. But I think he's fine with hitting. Came into the game 1 for 7 in league play. Jumped early on in his at-bat and picked up a single into left field back in the second inning.
He'll take both here in a 3-1 count. Either or, base hit, ball 4.
He takes ball 4 down low, and it's a 2-out walk for Tollerman. And now up comes Augusto Schroeder, who singled in the second as well. We were talking about Schroeder when he came up for the first time. There's a lot of Blues players who have seen some time off. We were talking about Nin Burns missing 4 games, but no one has not played for longer than Augusto Schroeder, really. He hadn't played in any of the 6 first league games for the Blues, and now he's back in the lineup playing third base.
Yeah, it's tough to dial it back in when you take as much time as he has away from the diamond, and to show up with the single in his first at-bat shows you something about the grit of Schroeder.
0-0. There's a swing and a miss for strike 1. Schroeder is the first player I've ever seen to be hit by a pitcher in batting practice. That came in the series against Conejo. Back-to-back pitches, he was hit in the upper body. And he walked to the dugout after the round, came back, and I told him, I half expected you to come back with a helmet. He was okay. He takes that one a little bit low, 1 ball and 1 strike.
There's some reflexes too, right? You said he caught it right by his left shoulder.
Next round, another pitch coming at his head, and just puts his left hand up and catches it. And assistant pitching coach Max Lober, who was throwing BP, said that's when he knew. He's like, I cannot throw anymore. As Schroeder flies it down the right field line out of play. 1 ball and 2 strikes. Put another good swing on it, just trying to straighten it out and keep it fair.
He's taking cuts at pitches in the zone. Seems to be seeing it pretty well. But you're right, Jack, just got to straighten it out.
And he wants to redeem himself for the way he played in non-conference. 2 for 18 in the preseason games. Did walk 4 times, but 6 strikeouts. Bouncing back. He's already got a single here today. A hit here would be huge for the Blues. It'd probably put them on the board. 1-2. And Schroeder bounces it into the hole and into left field. Blanchette gets the stop sign as McDonald comes up with it in left. Bases loaded for the Blues with nobody out.
Just passing the torch over to the next guy, and Schroeder finds a hole, and the bases are loaded.
And there's 2 outs, and the batter is going to be Jacob Ruley, the left fielder. Not sure why I said no outs. There's 2, as the 2 strikeouts in the inning, Trimble and Spear. But that's the second time Schroeder has tried that hole and come up with a base hit. He's 2 for 2, matching as many hits as he had in non-league play, as we get him meeting at the mound with the bases loaded situation.
Yeah, and right here, talking to his guy on the mound, just resetting, making sure everything's okay. He's got 2 outs here. He can go to any base.
Carriaco has now given up 6 hits. For him, though, he's fine with it. He's given up no runs. On the other side, just 3 hits in total for the Arroyo Seco Saints, but they've put up 6 runs, due in large part to the 4 errors on the infield for the Blues.
Yeah, and if you're the Blues, you certainly want to capitalize in this moment right here. Want Ruley to come through. I'd call him captain. He's always the most vocal in the dugout, always picking up the guys the most. Always like his aggressive at-bats. Hopefully he can come through here.
Bases loaded, 2 outs for the left fielder, who takes upstairs. 1 ball and no strikes. Well, who stepped up when there wasn't anyone to throw batting practice? It was Jacob Ruley, your captain, and he threw multiple days on the road trip batting practice for the Blues. And 1-0, he takes it upstairs again, 2 balls and no strikes. And I think while, it just looks like that's a small thing to offer up, you're like, oh, yeah, I'll come throw. It means a lot here in summer ball. The guys don't have to do that. And Jacob Ruley stepped up in a big way. 2-0, he pops it up on the infield as the first baseman Hammond calls for it. Backing away from the line, he does the pop-up dance and makes the catch. Ruley strands the bases loaded as the Blues have not scored through 4 innings. We head to the 5th. It is 6-0 Arroyo Seco on the SLO Blues streaming network.
But mankind won't be destroyed. The fact that you and I are working here today is evidence of that.
Well, Johnson has given up 6 runs, not to much fault of his own. He's walked a handful of guys, but the 4 errors behind him have made it a tough outing. But he's back out there for the 5th. It's 6-0 Arroyo Seco on the SLO Blues streaming network. 4-5-6 coming up for the Saints. Nate, I know that the first couple innings tough for the Blues. What was the reaction like in the dugout? Normally that's the first question I ask you, but when you're coming up with tacos, it distracts me a little bit. So what was the dugout like through those early innings where the Saints took the big lead?
Not a lot of reaction in general. A lot of new guys, a lot of new faces on the bench for the SLO Blues. I think everyone's still trying to get acquainted with one another, but not a lot of reaction.
Well, sometimes it's a little bit more telling where, I mean, these guys have maybe gotten used to the road routine. Then now coming back home and being with all the new guys is a little harder. As Jack Little, the 4-hole hitter, swings and misses. He's reached on a single and an error in his first 2 plate appearances in this game.
Yeah, in due time, everyone will get more comfortable. Everyone will get back in it. We got a long homestand coming up in a few days, but everyone's still getting accustomed to one another. Nothing to worry about on the chemistry front. This is a good group of guys.
No balls, 2 strikes on Jack Little, who's hitting above 300. Leads the team in runs batted in as well with 7. The Saints, who are 2-5 in CCL play, off to a hot start here in this home-and-home series. 0-2. Johnson goes to the slider, and it's down low. We talk about the shadows just about every home game, but the slider, which is Johnson's best put-away pitch, is going to be extra effective with a change in light. We'll explain the math and science on that in a little. 1-2. Little takes it outside again. So, Nate, to make sure I'm getting this right, it starts in the shadow, and then when it crosses into the sun, then back in the shadow, it's a lot harder to read the spin, right?
A lot harder. You can't even see spin at all. It's just a white sphere coming at you. And, yeah, with a slider, like Fisher.
As it's popped up into center, Burns chases it back and makes the catch in the gap for the first out.
With a slider like Fisher's, that makes it a lot more effective. And if he can locate it like he can, we'll be able to get out of this and let the offense maybe chip away. He's only given up 3 hits, but those six runs hurt.
So you just don't know whether the ball is going to run away from you or right at you.
No.
Sounds fun. As here's Jack Hammond, a single and a strikeout so far in his first start for the Arroyo Seco Saints. 0-0. That's on the outside corner, strike 1 with the slider. Hammond is the one player on the entire roster for the Saints that's listed as a utility. They've got infielders, outfielders, pitchers, everyone's listed, but Hammond is listed as a utility, which makes me think he's the only guy that they're going to use as both a hitter and a pitcher.
That'd be interesting to see. Could be a guy that's all over the field as well. I know Long Beach State likes to recruit a lot of utility players as well, as he's going to be dirtbag.
1-1. Hammond wraps it on the ground to third. Schroeder comes up with that long throw across the diamond in time for the out. So 2 away, as Johnson's worked much quicker since that third inning. Went 1-2-3 in the fourth. He's got 2 outs and 2 batters here in the fifth.
Yeah, refreshing here for the SLO Blues to see Johnson working quickly. We already got 2 outs here in 2 batters. Want to get the offense right back to it. They seem to have a little momentum cooking. Definitely want to build on that as soon as possible.
The batter is Roberto Gonzalez, the second baseman from CSUN. 2 walks and a run scored. Oh, well. He squares to bunt and takes it low. 1 ball and no strikes. We were talking about Johnson, and watching him throughout this USC season, I've become rather acquainted with the way he pitches. Does not walk guys. Really did not at all this season. 11 walks in just about 42 innings. 4 today is just very uncharacteristic out of the right-hander, where he's walked already more than a third of the guys in this game than he did all of last season for the Trojans.
Yeah, not his day for Johnson. Can't seem to locate that fastball, especially in that second and third inning. Located the slider a tad bit better, but got away from him, and that's where those 6 runs came in.
1-1 the count. That's a little bit low with the changeup. 2 balls and 1 strike. Now, I think there is something to be said. As much as you wouldn't want to say this as a pitcher, when your defense has made 4 errors behind you and you're a ground ball guy, then you try and maybe pitch for the strikeout a little bit more because you don't know whether it's going to be an out or not if it's hit on the ground behind you. 2-1. That's grounded towards second. DiCarlo has it on the backhand. This one's an out on the throw to Tollerman. A 1-2-3 inning for Johnson, who's straightened things out across the last couple frames. We head to the bottom of the 5th. It's 6-0 Arroyo Seco.
evolutionary process going on. But mankind won't be destroyed. The fact that you and I are working here today is evidence of that.
The Saints turn to the pen with a 6-run lead as Anthony Giannette, the right-hander from Louisiana Tech, stands 6 foot, 190 pounds. What have you seen from Giannette through the warm-ups, Nate?
So far, the warm-up pitch is looking like it's going to be a different look for the Blues in this game. Fastball now with some arm side run. He's a right-handed hitter, so right-handed pitcher. So on right-handed hitters, that ball's going to come in on them. And we talked about the shadows earlier. That's going to be tough to see. So the right-handed and left-handed hitting hitters are going to have to adjust to that fastball. No, it's not going to come in flat. We're also seeing a slider. He's yanking it a bit in the warm-up pitches, so we'll see how effective that's going to be. But for now, it's looking like that fastball is his favorite pitch. It's got a lot of movement to it.
Well, if you can look at the shadows, you've got shadows engulfing the mound. Then you go sliver of light, back to the shadows, sliver of light, back to the shadows.
Yeah.
This changing light, what is that, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 times? It got to be tough to pick up. And with a guy that, maybe is yanking the slider a little bit, a lefty coming up to the plate, you better watch out for your ankles. You're not going to know if it's breaking towards you. But Giannette's into this game. It's a 6-run lead for the Saints, who still only have 3 hits on the day. The Blues have put 6 hits on the scoreboard, but not a single run as they stranded the bases loaded last inning. And they've got 5 more innings on offense at least to make things up for the early gaps with runners on base. But the Blues have some work to do down by 6 against the Saints.
Yeah, once again, it was a refreshing inning for Johnson. Super effective. Only went 3 up, 3 down. We talked about the infield going to work. He's a ground ball pitcher. You want to have trust in your infield behind you that they're going to make a clean play. And they did. The last 2 outs were ground out to third, ground out to second. So that momentum may be going into the Blues offense this inning.
Owen Burns takes a mighty hack at the fastball, swings and misses. No balls on 1 strike. I want to specify when I was talking about Johnson and, maybe as a pitcher you don't have as much trust. I think during the full season, you're going to trust your guys no matter what. You know they're going to get the next one.
Yeah.
But these guys are pitching in front of this defense for the first time, some of them. Johnson's never played in a game with DeCarlo or Hardy. So it's just things you adjust to, and you'll learn it eventually. And down the stretch of this season, as Burns bends back out of the way of that one, down the stretch of the season when these guys have played the 30 games with each other, down the last couple league games, there's going to be the trust from every player on the team. But early on this summer, I think there is a little bit more question about, I've never played with these guys before. What's going on here?
Yeah, that's what I talked about earlier with the vibe in the dugout so far. Everyone's a little quiet. In due time, this group will click.
Burns strikes out swinging as Giannette's got a K for the first out. That could be one of the ones where Burns saw it out of the hand, and then it just completely dropped on him into the bottom of the zone. There's 1 out, and the batter will be Theo Hardy, the switch hitter, now batting left-handed with the lefty out of the game.
Yeah, and seeing Nin Burns at bats lately in the home stretch, I know he had some off time during the road trip. Bigger swings than we've seen as of late, as compared to the beginning of the season.
Hardy takes it high, 1 ball and no strikes. You have a chance to meet Theo Hardy down in the dugout?
We were running around. He was pretty dialed in. He's a guy that likes to stay locked in on game day. We've talked about this on previous broadcasts. You get the guy that's super social, giving everyone high fives, kissing babies, or you get people, hands claps together, they got the AirPods in. Hardy's one of those guys, and there's nothing wrong with that. I was one of those guys as well.
He flies it down the third base line out of play. We got to, going on the road trip with the team, we get to see some of the guys in a different light when they're off the field. Hardy's one of those guys, I feel like he's kind of super social, goofball off the field, but you're right. When he gets on the field, really locks it in as he takes that one outside. 2 balls and 2 strikes. Locked it into a first-team All-Mountain West team selection this past year at San Jose State. Played every single game for the Spartans at shortstop.
Yeah, that's what good players do. They're able to flip a switch just like Hardy.
Hardy rips the liner to first, but right into the glove of Hammond. That's a second out. Hardy ran about 3 feet down the line before turning back to the Blues dugout. As he knew it off the bat, he hit it right at Hammond.
Just getting unlucky in those past 2 at-bats. Hit a laser right at second base. This one's a little softer towards third, but looking like it was destined to find the hole. It was hooking a little bit, but Hammond comes up with it cleanly for out number 2.
And it looked like Giannette went to the changeup, and Hardy was just a little bit out in front. Didn't pull it over on the ground, but same thing as rolling over a line drive, basically, where you just catch it out in front, and your swing, you can't get as much power behind it.
Yeah, and that's where that tail or that cut action comes from, that left-handed bat.
Here's Sam DiCarlo, second baseman from Washington. He's 1 for 2 with a single back in the first. Another 1-0. DiCarlo has to raise his hands out of the way of that one. 2 balls and no strikes. Almost lost a couple fingers.
Yeah, I was just going to say, it looks like Giannette's coming in with that fastball and on right-handed hitters. Not afraid to go in the kitchen.
DiCarlo pops it up. The second baseman, Gonzalez, is camped under it. Fighting the sun, he bends back onto the outfield grass to make the catch. The Blues go 1-2-3. They haven't scored through 5. As we head to the top of the 6th, it is 6-0 Arroyo Seco.
evolutionary process going on, but mankind won't be destroyed. The fact that you and I are working here today is evidence of that.
New pitcher into the game for the Blues as the rest of the bullpen exits with the tennis balls after the tennis ball toss. Blues down by 6, and it's the right-hander Josh Blum. Nate, I want you to school me. What do you know about the Trojan?
Yeah, the Trojan, Josh Blum, showing up for his first time at Shinsheimer Stadium this season. He's got 40 strikeouts and 32.1 innings of work at USC. So looking like a strikeout guy, looking like he's comes after dudes with the fastball we're seeing so far in warm-up pitches. He's showcasing that slider as well, just like Johnson, looking like it's going to be pretty effective. That sweeper movement that we've been talking about throughout our broadcast is evident as well. Hoping to hold down the Saints, give the Blues offense some time to work.
Blum had a troubling outing his first time with the Blues. That was against Conejo through 2 innings. The first inning he came in, though, gave up a grand slam that untied that game. That was game 1 against the Oaks. Ended up 2 innings pitched, just that 1 hit. That was one of the only couple hits Conejo had all day, but it counted for 4 runs as Blum walked 4, only struck out 1. So he's trying to bounce back from that outing. Another one of these USC players that did not walk people this past season for the Trojans. Just 12 walks and 32 and a third innings. But you're right, the walks really stacked up in that first outing, and it's just uncharacteristic. And so trying to turn things around in his second outing as he takes over for his Trojan teammate. Blum in to face the bottom third of this Saints order. Jones, Morales, and Alvarez with a 6-run deficit. The shadows are now completely engulfing the path between the mound and home. So Blum doesn't get to benefit as that pop up, heading straight back. No balls and 1 strike.
So now at this point, it's no longer between the hitter and the pitcher making sure you see the rotation on the ball. It's now about the fielders, because now you'll see the ball in the darks. Take, for example, At shortstop, you got Hardy. He's got a ball coming at him in the dark. Once it hits his glove, it's going to be in the sunlight.
Here's a pop-up. This one's in the shadows as Zach Tollerman yells, "I got it." Right foot basically on the bag. He makes the catch. Worthy out.
And that's difficult play to make there for Tollerman. Made it a little difficult. Stepping on the bag, that's got to move your eyes a lot. It makes it hard to catch the ball, but he comes up with it clean for out number 1.
So if you're a player that's playing really on the verge of the shadows in the sun, are you wearing sunglasses or does it make it harder when you step in the shadows?
Oh, that's a really good question and something I had to deal with playing. I always just played it safe with the sunglasses. That's just me, but people do different things.
Well, you also see the people that are struggling with the sun. They're putting their hand up to try and block the sun, and you look at them, the sunglasses are on the hat, and you say, well, if only they had something to help.
That's also been me.
1-0. Richie Morales swings through that one. 1 ball and 1 strike. Blum has some strikeout stuff, as you talked about. 40 strikeouts and 32 1/3 for USC. Tied for the second most strikeouts of any USC reliever. So he was used a lot for Andy Stankiewicz and the Trojans. Misses low with the slider, 2 balls and 1 strike. Morales has walked and reached on an error in today's game. As Blum searches for his sign, comes set. He kicks and deals, and Morales takes that slider perfectly spotted, 2 balls and 2 strikes.
Yeah, there's that slider on cue with the sweeping action. Went across the entire strike zone and clips that low and away corner on the right-handed hitter.
Johnson looking for his first strikeout today. The 2-2, and Morales has to spin out of the way of that one. 3 balls and 2 strikes. So this is where I think we'll see, is this the Blum that the Trojans had at USC, or is it the Blum that's been with the Blues so far? 3-2 count. He was always good at filling up the zone. Not so much his first outing. 3-2. He struck him out. Fastball right past him on the inside corner. That's the first K for Blum here in the 6th, and there's 2 outs.
Yeah, and that's really good fastball placement by Blum in that inside corner. That ties up Morales for strike 3, producing an uncomfortable swing. Looked like he was undecided about 3/4 of the way through. It's a good sign for the Blues and Dean Trainer's staff.
Blum throws too hard to not be sure whether you're going to swing at an inside fastball. You got to know as soon as it's coming out of the hand. As that slider, did he go around? Yes, he did. A swing by Julian Alvarez. No balls and 1 strike on a slider in the dirt.
Yeah, and that is the pitch where you're going to get the more uncertain swings, is that sweeper slider.
0-1. Alvarez takes it this time in the zone. No balls and 2 strikes. And Blum's a strike away from a 1-2-3 inning.
He's feeling that slider right now. Might go back to it again. Wouldn't be surprised if he went in with the fastball again, though.
He'll go back foot slider as well. Try and go 1-2-3. 0-2. It's the fastball, and it's outside. 1 ball and 2 strikes. 9-hole hitter Julian Alvarez, the center fielder from Cal Baptist. Reached on an error in the 2nd, flew out to center to end the 3rd. Blum kicks and deals and misses low. Alvarez trying to reach for the top of the order. Max Blessinger, who stands on deck. If Blum wants a new baseball, he'll get one. Blues trying to throw up the 3rd straight scoreless inning as Blum has taken over for Johnson. He comes set, kicks and deals. Outside with the fastball, 3 balls and 2 strikes.
It's interesting here, nipping away at that outer half to left-handed hitters. Looks like his fastball's got late life to it, tailing away from left-handed hitters.
Well, he had a pitch to burn, doesn't have one now. Full count with 2 outs. The pitch, upstairs with the slider, and that's a 2-out walk. The 5th for Blum since joining the Blues. Alvarez takes first.
Yeah, just missed on that slider. Too high. Had the movement. Not exactly the height.
So after the walk to Alvarez, the lineup card does turn over. Blessinger, the right fielder from Belmont, steps up. A pop out, reached on an error, and singled back in the 4th inning. Blum, with the runner dancing off first, comes home and misses upstairs with a fastball. 1 ball and no strikes. Blum from Bel Air, Texas. 6'1", 195-pound right-hander. Was a two-sport athlete, football for 4 years, all district in baseball. Back in the Lone Star State as he picks off to first. Not in time. Bel Air, just southwest of Houston. I'm not very good at the way that cities in Texas are oriented, so I had to look it up on a map. 1-0, runner takes off for second. Got a huge jump. The throw from Spear is not in time as Alvarez swipes the bag. Alvarez had a running start. He read Blum like a book and puts himself in scoring position with 2 away.
Yeah, great jump by Alvarez. But the Blues want to stop the bleeding now. Not that any runs have scored, but you're feeling the momentum creeping towards the Saints as that bag was swiped easily by Alvarez.
The pitch was high as well, so 2 balls and no strikes, the count. And Blum trying to avoid giving up a run with 2 outs. Blessinger skies it to center as Nin Burns has it in the sun, using the sunglasses on his hat, makes the catch. That's the 3rd out here in the 6th. We head to the bottom half of the frame. It is 6-0 still Saints on the SLO Blues streaming network.
But mankind won't be destroyed. The fact that you and I are working here today is evidence of that.
We're back here on the SLO Blues streaming network from Sinsheimer Stadium. It's 6-0 Saints as the Blues trying to come through on offense. 6 hits, but no runs, as there's been good defense behind Saint pitching, and the Blues just have not found a way to get a hit with a runner in scoring position. Here's Justin Trimble. It's his Blues debut here in 2023. He's grounded into a fielder's choice, and he's struck out. At least ahead in the count, 1 ball and no strikes. Trimble played last year for the Blues as a high school player, temporary guy during non-conference play, but he's back as a permanent left-handed bat this summer and pops that one up foul. Off the facing of the press box, 1 ball and 1 strike. What is that, 5-6 yards to our left?
We got a glove right here. I'm wondering why no one's got it on.
1 ball and 1 strike on Trimble, who takes it outside. Talked about Trimble, his first time up. 3 of his 6 collegiate hits so far at UCSB have been home runs. The Blues will take a home run here. That would light a fire under this offense as Trimble lifts it foul. 2 balls and 2 strikes.
Certainly, and Trimble's putting some good swings right now, just missing those fastball offerings from Giannett.
Giannett came in last inning and throwing again, 2-2, way outside. That pitch never broke, and it bounced to the backstop. 3 balls and 2 strikes. One of the most errant pitches I think I've ever seen.
That happens when you're trying to throw a slider like that. You just get a misgrip on it, and you just completely lose control.
That's what happens when you throw the backdoor slider. I feel like you can never do that on purpose.
No.
A pitcher does it on accident, and they can never do it again as Trimble fouls that one off. 3 balls and 2 strikes. It really is an art, pitching, and sometimes you have one that just leaves the hand, and it's not your best artistic work.
Happens to everyone. Spilling all over the easel.
3-2. Trimble takes. Strike 3 called on the outside corner. Started walking to first. He thought he had a walk, but it's the first out here in the 6th inning.
Ooh, and that pitch barely clips the strike zone low and away on the left-handed hitter, Trimble. He thought he had first base on the walk. He worked a very competitive at-bat. Wanted to turn out into a walk and get some sort of rally going for San Luis Obispo, but instead it'll be Blanchette coming up with 2 outs, with 1 out.
Giannett from the windup deals in, and Blanchette fouls it away, 0-1. The Blues, the walks have paced the offense. The team with the least hits of any CCL team, just 46 coming into this game, but the most walks of any CCL South team. And so, you look at the Blues, and they're a team that has made their way with the walk, because there's another base hit into right off the bat of Blanchette. That's his first of the day, or his second. Had a single in the 4th as well. But the walks have led the Blues offense, and today they've only got 1. It's 7 hits to 1 walk for San Luis Obispo, which is uncharacteristic. As they're trying to find a way to score runs without being allowed on for free.
Very uncharacteristic. And if they can manufacture runs by putting the ball in play and getting base hits, hey, that's more exciting for the fans, more exciting for the team in general.
Here's Matt Spear, a single and a strikeout, and he takes strike 1 called. I think if you ask the coaching staff by the end of the summer, what would you rather have? Would you rather be led by hits or walks? They'd want the hits, so the Blues will take the 7 hits today, but I think most of all they want runs, and the Blues have not turned their hits into runs today as they try and start that here in the 6th.
Yeah, and if they can do that, get that to that extra level of turning the hits into runs, that's a sustainable characteristic for SLO.
Sustainable business model for the Blues on offense. They're trying to come back. They're down by 6 and a 2-strike count on Spear. Struck out swinging back in the 4th. Another guy that can put one over the fence as Giannett steps off. Spear, 5 home runs in 55 games at San Jose State. And 1 2's in the dirt, 2 balls and 2 strikes. But in the Mountain West playoffs, which is the most recent collegiate baseball that Spear played, 2 3-run homers and was named to the Mountain West Championship All-Tournament team as Giannett gets another baseball. And then in his second game he played with the Blues, launched a homer to right. So he's got the home run swing working as of late. Two on the way. Spear takes a little bit high, 3 balls and 2 strikes.
They're good-looking home runs, too, especially out of the left side of the batter's box. It's always the left-handed swings that look the best.
Well, he's got a sweet one. 3-2. He swings here, laces a fly ball to center. Heading back is Alvarez to the wall. It is off the warning track and bounces over the fence for a ground rule double. Alvarez crashes into the wall. He seems to be okay. Everyone's got their hands up, and now the middle infield calls out the trainers.
Yeah, it looked like the ball bounced over the wall.
And that's the worst thing for the Blues. 2nd and 3rd with 1 out. Blanchette might have easily scored there. And instead it'll be 2nd and 3rd. And Alvarez, the center fielder, is up and walking towards. Are they trying to convince the umpires it was a ground rule double? I mean, we could see from here. Bounced off the warning track over the wall. And then Alvarez crashed into the wall. And he's trying to either plead his case to prove something, and now the trainers are going to come out and make sure he's okay.
Yeah, that was a tough crash there. That wall, not soft out there in the outfield, but he bounced up pretty quickly, threw their arms up right away, stood up quickly.
I think this is just you check to make sure guys don't have concussions in those situations. We've seen it too many times. Every sport, it's becoming an issue that you can never be too sure, and there's no reason not to check. And if you are Arroyo Seco, this slows down what might be a mini rally brewing for the Blues as well.
Exactly, yeah. This could help out the Saints as well. I want to talk about Spear's hit, though. You look at left-handed hitters, and when they're going the opposite way, especially Spear right there, the ball tailing in the left center gap, that's when you know they're about to get hot. It's always a good sign to see a left-handed hitter go that way, especially with power, the power we know that Spear has. for extra bases, but unfortunately for the Blues, this one bounces over the fence, and Blanchette's going to stay at third base.
I thought that was more of a routine fly ball to center off the bat, which I think that is the key indicator for the power that Spear has. It's the power that carries on late in the fly ball path.
Yep. Yeah, you nailed it right there. And we saw some action on the ball, too. At its apex, it's sort of tailing away from the center fielder Alvarez as well, which made that ball extra difficult to play and find some grass. And
we've talked about the shadows and the sun all day. That's another one of those situations. Alvarez going back on the ball as the center fielder in the shadow, gets to the warning track, and he's finally back in the light.
Yep.
And maybe he lost it, and that allowed it to bounce over the fence because he almost got there. But everyone's back to their spots. Dean Traynor returns back to the Blues dugout, and the batter with 2 runners on, both in scoring position and 1 out, will be Zach Tollerman, who's reached in both of his plate appearances today a single and a walk for the first baseman from Cuesta.
Very nice single in the second inning. Barreled that one up well. Hopefully he can replicate that in this at-bat.
0-0. And Tollerman takes strike 1 on the outside corner. Another guy that the power is apparent in batting practice. It's apparent when you look at his statistics back at Cuesta College this past year, but we're trying to see him grow into that power this summer. 0-1. He grounds it into left field. It's a base hit. Spear this time is held at second, but Blanchette comes in to score, and the Blues are on the board at 6-1.
Yeah, good look for San Luis Obispo. We're talking about it earlier in this inning. Manufacturing runs via the base hit. We see 3 hits in a row, a single, double, single, and that does it for San Luis Obispo. That gets the people on their feet.
And this time, as Spear was heading to third base, the stop sign was up immediately. Don't get backpicked again and stop this rally. As Zach Tollerman has his second hit, he's already got more hits in this game than he had entering league play in the entire season. Now he's come through, and here's another guy, Augusto Schroeder. His first league game, he's 2 for 2 with 2 singles. First pitch to Schroeder is outside and back to the backstop. Spear hesitated, and he heads back to third. But Tollerman moves to second and third in a 1-0 count. So Spear, the catcher, maybe a little too much trust in Jones to keep that one in front. And he stays at third base. 1 ball, no strikes on Augusto Schroeder, the third baseman from Arkansas State. Looking to come through with his third base hit and dig even deeper at this Saints lead. Schroeder takes low, 2 balls and no strikes.
Yeah, 2-0 count to Schroeder here, who's seeing it pretty well. 2 hits on the day. Got runners on second and third with 1 out. You know what to do here, kid.
And with Tollerman moving up, it erases the potential for a double play. So you can still bring in a run on a ground ball, as that's in there for strike 1 on the inside corner, 2 balls and 1 strike. All it takes is a chopper to second, and the Blues will chip away. Don't need to get all 6 at once, but at some point you got to bring in guys when they're on base in scoring position. 2-1 the count as Giannette works from the stretch. Sets at the belt, now kicks and deals. And that is outside, 3 balls and 1 strike.
You're working himself in another hitter's count, 3-1. Feeling confident here.
2 for 18 in non-league play, 2 for 2 in his first league game today. 3-1. He lines it down the right field line. A little more of a fly ball, and it's out of play. 3 balls and 2 strikes. So the count is full on Augusto Schroeder. 1 out, 2 runners on. Spear is at third. Tollerman's at second. You don't have particularly great speed at either bag. Payoff pitch. Schroeder pops it up into shallow right field. Out goes the second baseman Gonzalez. This won't be deep enough to score Spear, and he won't tag. It's a non-productive out for Augusto Schroeder, and that's the second out here in the inning.
And if he caught just a little more of that fastball, would have gotten the job done, but this is a little floater out in shallow right field. And like you said, Jack, unproductive.
So now it's up to Jacob Ruley to try and bring the runs in. Ruley's 0 for 2. Came up in a similar spot to this back in the 4th inning. It was bases loaded, 2 away, and he popped out to the first baseman Hammond. A little redemption chance for the left fielder from CSU Bakersfield. Giannette searching for one more out. The pitch, and Ruley pops it up. Same spot. This time it's the pitcher. Giannette calls it and makes the catch. Ruley pops up, and the Blues strand second and third after having them there with one out. They do get on the board, though. It is 6-1 as we head to the top of the seventh inning. Top side of 7 here at Sinsheimer Stadium. The Blues got on the board, but they still trail it by 5. Josh Blum back out. He'll face Kite McDonald, Alex Burge, and Jack Little here on the SLO Blues streaming network.
Yeah, hopefully Blum got some good rest and was able to reset. Was starting to rush himself a bit there. Had some command issues. You know, Blues tacking on one.
2-3-4 due up. McDonald taps a bunt back behind the plate as Spear got up quick, but it's a foul ball. 0-1 the count on McDonald, who has struck out, flown out, and grounded out. Still looking to reach base for the first time. Through 6 innings, only 3 hits all day for the Saints. They've scored 6 runs, though. The problem, the 4 early errors by the Blues infield. And the Blues have 8 hits and have only scored once. 0-1. And McDonald takes the slider out. 1 ball and 1 strike. That pitch outside, 2 balls and 1 strike. What are you seeing on that slider right now? It doesn't seem like he's had the best command so far this inning.
Yeah, we're seeing him pulling it. It's in his hand for too long. Looks like he's trying to muscle it in there. He's trying to throw it hard is what it looks like he's trying to do. And he's skipping it just over the plate.
So 2 balls and 1 strike on McDonald, the left fielder. The pitch, and McDonald skies it into shallow center field. Out goes Hardy, in comes Burns. Burns, who almost lost his hat, is the one that makes the play for the first out.
Good communication again by Nin Burns. Has been doing that all year. Commanding the outfield.
Look out, Pauly Pomona Bronco back in center field where he belongs and where he resided just about the entire early part of the season. Before the road trip, he was the only Blue to play in every single game this year. And he got the start and lead off in center field just about every day.
And he's getting a lot of action tonight in center field. He's got 4 fly balls hit to him. Doesn't sound like a lot, but you'll go weekends without a ball even being hit to you.
Well, the saying is when you're new, the ball will find you. And he's not new to the Blues this summer, but when you've taken a little bit of time off, the ball will find you. 1 ball, no strike count on Alex Burge, who pops it up over the third base dugout, not a play. 1 ball and 1 strike.
You know, the baseball gods will interpret you as new.
Well, the baseball gods can't watch every game, so they don't know too much about Nin Burns. They're not tuning into every game here on the SLO Blues streaming network.
Yeah, it's a lot of games.
We got the notes for you guys. As Burge and Ugly swing through the slider, 1 ball and 2 strikes. But the Blues and Blues fans happy to see Nin Burns back in center after he took the 4 games off. Wasn't with the team on the road trip. They got them some chance, though, to get Jariah Lewis in the lineup. TJ Adams played some center, 1-2. And Burge pops it up. This is into shallow left field. Ruley on his horse, crosses the foul line, bends back over, and makes the catch. 2 flyouts to start the inning, as that's now 3 in a row generated by Blum, dating back to last inning. And here comes Jack Little.
Yeah, we're not seeing the strikeouts we're talking about, but so far this inning, been getting some uppercut swings, creating some soft pop-outs.
It's a dichotomy of the 2 USC pitchers, because Fisher Johnson was a huge ground ball guy, and Blum's the opposite. He's a fly ball guy. And sometimes it makes it a little harder for him to pitch, as that's a big swing and a miss on the slider, because sometimes fly balls turn into home runs. If you're a fly ball guy, the guys get under it with power, they can hit home runs, and that was a little bit of what plagued Blum at USC in his first outing here. But the 0-1, and Little swings and misses, no balls and 2 strikes in the roughly 30 or so innings he pitched at USC. 7 home runs in the 24 hits he gave up. So just under a third of the hits were homers. 0-2 here, the pitch. Little checks his swing, and he went around. A strikeout for Blum, who goes 1-2-3 in the 7th and gets the Blues back in the dugout. We head to the bottom of the 7th. It's 6-1 Arroyo Seco.
But mankind won't be destroyed. The fact that you and I are working here today is evidence of that.
Welcome back to Sinsheimer Stadium. The Arroyo Seco Saints are up 6-1 on your SLO Blues as we're in the bottom of the 7th inning, and Nin Burns II gets an opportunity here, and he's quickly 2-0 in this at-bat against the pitcher, Giannette, who remains in the game.
Burns is 0 for 3, and he takes that one for a strike. 2 balls and 1 strike. Giannette working from the windup. Gotten out of a jam in the last 2 innings. He misses high here, 3 balls and 1 strike. Stranded the bases loaded in the 4th, and stranded 2 runners on last inning. 3-1. He walks Burns to start the 7th.
We've talked about it all year. Not the guy you want to walk. Could swipe second base at any moment, most likely on the first pitch. Urgently needing to get something sparked for SLO here soon, as their hottest hitter and Theo Hardy strides up to the plate.
Well, Hardy's hit the ball fairly well today, but nothing to show for it. 2 lineouts in his last 2 at-bats. He takes that outside. That was the changeup. 1 ball and no strikes. Hardy, the 5 for 5 day in Game 1 versus the Oaks. Reached a couple times in the second game. I know you heard a little birdie that he might be named the CCL Player of the Week.
Very deserving. You know, you go 5 for 5 in a game like that, you know. Makes sense. You know, as a hitter, too, you're hitting the ball hard today. It's just right at people. It's important to not get too frustrated. I know how much he wants to find a hole there and keep that formerly 667 batting average up for the Blues, but you just got to keep your composure, keep your approach. Something is obviously working, and you'll find a hole eventually.
3 balls, no strikes, might not need to. Burns takes off. The pitch is in there for a strike, and Burns has second base. A low throw out of the hand of Jones. Giannett had to watch out, but Burns has a stolen base right on cue.
That's always sketchy to me when guys run into second and they don't slide, and you have to throw on the brakes. You never know if you could like pull a hammy. Injuries happen when you don't slide. It's always safe to slide in there.
So now 3-1 the count on Hardy, who pops it up. Shallow left. Out goes McDonald towards the line, and he stops right before he crosses and makes the catch. Tries to backpick Burns at second, as Burns got a big jump off the bag, but he's back and there's one out.
Yeah, and I know that's a pitch that Hardy doesn't love. Didn't need to swing at that 3-1, but he gets fisted on a slider that comes in on his hands, kind of saws him off. He pops out to McDonald for out number 1.
Well, the batter, Sam DiCarlo, a pop out and a fly out. This is since his single in the first. He's 1 for 3. The Blues only got a couple more outs to play with offensively, so you got to make the base runners count. They try and bring in Burns from second, and that's strike 1 on the fastball. Burns walked and stole second after the fly out from Hardy. DiCarlo, the 3-hole hitter today at home, is at the plate. Long hold and a step off. Burns retreats back to the bag. Had a huge lead. Burns, I wouldn't put it past him to steal third either. Try and put himself 90 feet away. He doesn't go, and DiCarlo swings and misses. No balls and 2 strikes. Went fishing.
And that's something as a speedy second baseman runner on second like Burns. You want to get in the head of Giannett, perhaps spike a ball like he did there, but DiCarlo goes after it.
Could go to the breaker, 0-2. He kicks and deals. He does, and DiCarlo strikes out swinging. 2 straight outs by the Blues, and there's 2 away here in the inning.
Yeah, Giannett straightened out that curveball. He spiked it first, but then this one plops right in the strike zone and through the barrel of DiCarlo for his first strikeout of the day.
6 strikeouts for Saints pitching. It's not the highest number in the world, but they've come in some pretty big spots. Here, another one in the 7th with a runner in scoring position, and Justin Trimble comes up for his 4th plate appearance. He's 0 for 3 in his 2023 Blues debut. Fielder's choice, 2 strikeouts of his own. And he watches that one whiz past his knees. 1 ball and no strikes. So Trimble trying to come through. The Blues have just not hit with runners in scoring position today. A dunk single into any parts of the outfield would score a run with Burns' speed as Giannett steps off.
Yeah, and so it's not crucial that he swipes third right here, especially with 2 outs. Definitely don't want to make the 3rd out at third base. You got the speed of Burns. You can just plop something there and he'll score.
Burns, as the back pick bounces off him from the catcher Jones. He's heading to third, and he makes it in. Crazy play, and Burns propelled that one into right. And he gets third base.
He doesn't even need to gamble. The back pick attempt by Jones hits Burns on the shoulder. It kicks away into shallow right, and he takes third base, and now he's 90 feet away. Pass ball, he can score easily.
That's an E2. That was dangerously close to nailing Burns in the face as he gets a little bit of time to catch his breath at third. That could have gone a lot worse than it did, but ends up for Burns being the same as a stolen base. And a 2-ball, no-strike count on Trimble, who's got home run power. He pops it up towards the dugout. Over goes the third baseman, Little, and he watches it fly into the seats. 2 balls and 1 strike. Burns trying to put pressure on the base paths and just trying to force a mistake.
Yeah, and that's all you can really do as the Blues. Can't hit a 6-run home run here. Trimble just wants to keep it simple. Just place a nice base hit.
Well, they just need a 5-run homer to tie the game. Is that possible? 2-1. Trimble tries his luck and flies it deep into center field. Alvarez has a beat on this one, and as he squares up, he makes the one-handed catch. The Blues only have 1 run through 7 as we head to the 8th inning. It is 6-1 Arroyo Seco Saints.
But mankind won't be destroyed. The fact that you and I are working here today is evidence of that.
We welcome you back to Sinsheimer Stadium on the SLO Blues streaming network. It's the top of the 8th inning, a 6-1 lead for the Saints as Josh Blum tries to get the offense back in the dugout to try and answer back. He deals a fastball in there for a strike. Johnson went the first 5 for the Blues, and Blum has taken over. He's worked a couple of scoreless innings. He deals the slider in there, strike 2 called, as Blum he's been fantastic since coming in. The one blemish was the walk to Alvarez, but he's retired 6 of the 7 hitters he's faced. He deals 0-2. That's in the dirt. 1 ball and 2 strikes. The batter is Jack Hammond, who is 1 for 3 in his first appearance for the Saints. 2 strikeouts for Blum across the 2 innings. It's normally the average that he'll throw up there. 1 an inning. 1-2. And Hammond takes it high. 2 balls and 2 strikes. Hammond singled in the second, struck out in the third, and grounded out to the third baseman Schroeder back in the 5th inning. 2-2 on the way. That's outside. 3 balls and 2 strikes. When you're down by 5, the last thing you want to do is walk the leadoff hitter in the 8th. The Blues just aren't hitting with runners in scoring position. They've left plenty on base. 8 hits, just 1 run scored. 3-2. Hammond hits a little bloop into right field. It falls for a base hit. As Blanchette collects it, it's a leadoff knock for Hammond, his second of the day in his first start. With Hammond aboard, the batter will be Roberto Gonzalez. Gonzalez, 2 walks in the second and third, grounded out to second in the 5th inning, as that's the first hit that Blum has allowed in this outing. Going further than he did in his first outing against the Conejo Oaks. He went 2 innings there, pitching into his 3rd inning here. As Gonzalez squares to bunt, takes it outside, 1 ball and no strikes. Want to know the count on Gonzalez, the second baseman from Cal State Northridge. The runner on first, nobody out. The 1-0. And Gonzalez takes it way high and outside, 2 balls and no strikes. The Blues dominated the season series between these 2 teams last year. 5-1 went the Blues against the Saints, but en route to losing Game 1 here in 2023. 2-0 with the runner dancing off first. The pitch, Gonzalez does bunt. It's a drag. The throw from Blum is in time, and Gonzalez sacrifices Hammond over to second. I think Gonzalez was trying to bunt for a hit, and he got out of the box quick, but it was right back to the pitcher, Blum. It operates as a sacrifice nonetheless, so there's a runner in scoring position with one out. The official announced attendance at Sinsheimer Stadium on a Tuesday, 1,438 fans. The city of San Luis Obispo showing up as the Blues back in town for the first time in 9 days playing at home. And with one out and a runner at second, here's Alec Jones. The pitch, and Jones takes it high. 1 ball and no strikes. The Saints came into this one with a 2-5 CCL record. The Blues, who were at 3-3, wanted to get this home-and-home series off to a hot start. And as of right now, it's not going the way that the SLO wanted things to go. 1-0, Blum kicks and deals. And Jones flies it high to left field in the park as Rulli ranges towards the line, puts his glove up and makes the one-handed catch for the second out. Blum has done exactly what he's needed to. In fact, Johnson, towards the end of his outing, did too. They've really locked it down against the Saints. The problem was the 2 3-run innings early on. The second inning, 3 runs scored, and the third inning, 3 runs scored for the Saints. Put up all 6 of their runs in those 2 frames. Since then, 4 straight zeros, and Blum is an out away from putting up another to be the 5th straight zero. So much damage done in those early innings that the Blues still trailing. Richie Morales steps up, and Blum comes home. Spots up on the outside corner with a fastball. Morales, a walk, an error, and a strikeout. The 0-1. He swings and misses. That bounces off Spear back to the backstop near the dugout for the Blues. As the runner Hammond advances 90 feet, they count no balls and 2 strikes. The pitch was so filthy that the catcher Spear couldn't keep it in front, and now Hammond's at third with 2 outs. No balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs as Blum trying to keep it just the 5 runs. Defense plays back for the Blues. They'll have to go across the diamond for the out. Blum kicks and deals. And Morales strikes out swinging. 3 strikeouts in 3 innings for Josh Blum, and he's thrown up 3 zeros. We head to the bottom of the 8th. It's still 6-1 on the SLO Blues streaming network.
But mankind won't be destroyed. The fact that you and I are working here today is evidence of that.
Only a couple more chances for the Blues, who trail it by 5 here in the bottom of the 8th inning, and a new pitcher is coming in for the Saints. It's number 33, the right-hander Hayden Lewis, 6 foot, 175-pounder from the University of Arizona. And he gets ready to face the middle of this order for the Blues: Giovanni Blanchette, Matt Spear, and Zach Tollerman. Blues have 8 hits. They've only scored 1 run, and they're trying to change things around here. They've gotten the base runners. They just have not brought them in. That's one of the reasons they trail by 5. Only 6 more outs to play with offensively as Blanchette takes that first pitch fastball on the outside corner for a strike, 0-1. Blanchette's got 2 hits, a single in the 4th, a single in the 6th. He struck out in the 2nd. He's 2 for 3. 0-1. And he ropes it foul off the facing of the dugout for the Saints. No balls and 2 strikes. The Saints a chance with just 6 more outs to win their 3rd straight road game before heading back to Pasadena tomorrow, game 2 of this series. And Blanchette takes the fastball outside. The Saints have not won a CCL game at home this year, but this would be their 3rd win in general, their 3rd win on the road in a row. 1-2 on the way. And Blanchette spoils it foul. Still 1 ball and 2 strikes. So 2 win streaks on the line. The Blues are trying to win their 3rd straight game in general. 3rd straight road win possibility for the Saints. As the 1-2, a little bit low. 2 balls and 2 strikes. Two and 2 the count as the new righty Hayden Lewis kicks and fires. And Blanchette takes it outside. Quality at bat from the freshman from St. Mary's, and the count is full. Lewis, the 6 foot, 175-pounder. Got some velocity behind the fastball. He'll try and power it through. 3-2. He misses low, and it's a leadoff walk for Giovanni Blanchette. The captain has reached in his last 3 at-bats 2 singles and a walk, and he's aboard here to start the 8th. Just what the Blues need is base runners if they want to bring this game and come back from the 5-run lead. Here's Matt Spear, a single and a double to his name today. The double, a ground rule one to center field over the head of Alvarez his last time up. Quick pitch and a swing and miss strike. No balls and 1 strike. Spear, the Spartan catcher, 2 for 3. He's been stranded at 3rd base twice. The first time he was back-picked there. 0-1. He takes it low. 1 ball and 1 strike. Spear, huge increase in playing time this past year at San Jose State. Went from 7 games in 2 years to 55 as a junior. A 1-1. And Spear flies it foul the other way. 1 ball and 2 strikes. Spear, San Clemente native. 6'1", 200-pound left-handed hitting catcher. Those are so valuable in baseball nowadays. And San Jose State saw the same thing his senior year and threw him out there 55 times. 1-2 with Blanchette at first. Lewis comes home, and Spear takes the changeup low. 2 balls and 2 strikes. The communications major who graduated from Woodbridge High School, just trying to reach and keep building this rally here in the 8th with the Blues needing to find a way to score 5 runs. 2-2. And Spear strikes out swinging. Lewis gets his first K. It's the first out here in the 8th inning. And with 1 away, here's Zach Tollerman. Just one of those days for the Blues. The leadoff hitter will reach, but then the next guy strikes out or pops out. And they just have not stacked hits. It's not as contagious today as it was in Orange County and has been at other times at home this season. One of the games it feels like they're laboring through the innings instead of having a fluid offensive attack. As Tollerman rips a liner to short, Blanchette left the bag, the throw back, a double play. Tough base running mistake for the Blues as Tollerman hit that pitch 1,000,000 miles an hour and comes up with 2 outs. Through 8 innings, it's 6-1 on the SLO Blues streaming network.
mankind won't be destroyed. The fact that you and I are working here today is evidence of that.
It's just been one of those games for the Blues. Not enough runs on too many hits, and the double play line drive is just a microcosm of what's gone on today at Sinsheimer Stadium. But the Blues trying to keep it close here in the top of the ninth. Send out a new right-hander. It's Caden Tynes from Cuesta College, 5'11", 185 right-hander. 2.2 innings pitched so far in CCL play. 4 strikeouts. He's given up 3 earned runs. Pitched last year for the Blues as well. Only pitcher with a 0 ERA on the entire summer. Had a win in 2.2 scoreless innings. He'll face 9-1-2 in the Saints order in the top of the ninth inning, trying to keep it close. It's Alvarez, Blessinger, and McDonald. As Tynes comes set. Misses outside with a changeup. 1 ball and no strikes. 8 hits for the Blues, just the 1 run. Only 4 hits for the Saints, and they've scored 6. Both those runs came in the first 3 innings. They're all 6 of them. As a swing and a miss. Alvarez behind on the fastball, 1 ball and 1 strike. Tynes from Arroyo Grande High School, 2 years on varsity baseball, and was also the All-Area Offensive Player of the Year as AG's running back. As Alvarez goes around, 1 ball and 2 strikes. We've talked about it before, but the multi-sport athletes, they always feel like if you play multiple sports, you're able to excel no matter where you go. And the 1-2. Alvarez pops it up. Inside-out swing. The pop-up past the third base bag. Rulli into foul ground. Slides and makes the one-handed catch. What a play by the second baseman turned outfielder. And there's 1 out. Rulli's made a couple of nice plays ranging into foul territory. He gets a fist bump. He gets a fist bump from the bullpen for the Saints. Sportsmanship on that amazing sliding catch. But Caden Tynes, as he looks in at Max Blessinger, the leadoff hitter. 1,289 total yards, 21 total touchdowns as a senior as a running back. Also, 92 tackles, 7 tackles for loss, 4 sacks, and an interception at linebacker. And it makes sense that he was honored so heavily as a football player. As he gets strike 1 to Blessinger, who's reached on an error. He's singled. He's 1 for 4. 0-1 the count. Tynes deals and misses inside with the slider. 1 ball and 1 strike. One from the new reliever. That's the front door slider again, and it doesn't quite clip the zone. 2 balls and 1 strike to Blessinger, the right fielder from Belmont. Blessinger, 5'11", 190 pounds. Bats right, throws right. Ahead in the count 2-1. The pitch, and he takes it outside. 3-1 the count. Coming into this game, this Blues pitching staff, not a group that struck out a lot. In fact, though they do have the least innings pitched coming into the game of any CCL staff, the least strikeouts as well by a decent margin. And that's a walk by Tynes. There's a runner aboard with 1 out. And it feels like that's what we've seen from the Blues so far this summer. They pitched to contact early on in non-league play. They had a lot of strikeouts, but they were playing non-CCL opponents that didn't quite match up to the quality of some of the teams they're seeing now. And when you pitch to contact, you limit the strikeouts a little bit, and they just really haven't gotten any of these CCL teams chasing out of the zone all that much. As Blessinger is aboard with 1 out, the batter, Kite McDonald. And McDonald lines it foul on the right field line. No balls and 1 strike. Tynes a guy 4 strikeouts in 2 2/3. So of the 8 outs, got a strikeout, 1 of every 2 batters. But just not a staff that has tallied up the strikeouts in league play as much as they did in the preseason. 0-1 the count on Kite McDonald, who's 0 for 4. Tynes deals. Runner on the move, swinging a foul back to the screen as Spear was jumping out of his crouch to try and gun down the runner, Blessinger. So the count moves to no balls and 2 strikes, and Blessinger has to return to the first base back. Tynes comes set. Tan glove held up high. He kicks and deals. Runner bluffed to run, and now returns and stops halfway. The fly ball to right is reeled in by Blanchette, and moving back is Blessinger to first. There's 2 outs. And the Blues, it felt like they were low energy early on in the game. It feels like it's kind of continued so far in this one. They're 1 out away, though, getting the offense back, and it'll be a tough go in the 9th inning. They'll have to find a way to try and score 5 runs to tie, maybe 6 runs to win. And they'll have the bottom of the order coming up. 8-9-1, Schroeder, Ruley, and Burns. A look ahead. Here's Alex Burge from the DH spot as Tynes steps off. Burge walked in the 3rd. Other than that, he's 0 for 3. Strikeout, a pop out, and a fly out. Tynes picks to first, and Blessinger's back in. The pitching has been sublime for the Blues since the 3rd inning. They have thrown up, coming into this frame, 5 straight zeros, and Tynes is not away from doing the same. In that, only 2 innings, and this one included now, were not 1-2-3 innings, as Tynes comes home and misses low. 1 ball and no strikes. 1-2-3 in the 4th, 1-2-3 in the 5th. 4 batters came up in the 6th. Another 1-2-3 in the 7th. 4 batters in the 8th. And here, Alex Burge is the 4th batter here in the 9th inning. The Blues have only faced a couple batters over the minimum, but so much run scoring early, it felt like this game's been almost out of reach for the majority of the contest. The Blues have had their opportunities, just haven't scored with runners in scoring position. A 1-1 count on the DH from Wichita State. Tynes from the stretch looks back at Blessinger at first, who gets a big lead. Now he strides and shoots, and that's roped on the ground. DiCarlo has it on the backhand, underhand flip for the out. Nice play by Sam DiCarlo at second. He hopes he comes up in the 9th inning. It's 8-9-1 coming up for the Blues, chasing 5 runs on the SLO Blues streaming network.
But mankind won't be destroyed. The fact that you and I are working.
Last chance for the Blues. Bottom of the 9th. It's 6-1 Arroyo Seco Saints, and the Blues ringing up 8-9-1 in the order. Augusto Schroeder, Jacob Ruley, and then the top of the order for Nin Burns against Hayden Lewis. As Schroeder pops that one foul off a big hop on a grounder. No balls and 1 strike. Schroeder has been one of the highlights for the Blues today. 2 hits in his first 2 at-bats, then the pop-up. As Schroeder takes the slider in there for strike 2. Schroeder, a guy that, as we talked about earlier in the broadcast, his first CCL game today. And he welcomed himself with a warm welcome. 2 hits to start it off, and he takes the fastball upstairs. 1 ball and 2 strikes. But the Blues, who have out-hits the Saints through this game, need to find a way to put up 5 runs if they want to keep this one going here at Sinsheimer. First home game in 9 days, and the Blues have looked a little sluggish. As Schroeder bounces it on the ground towards second on a handful of hops. Gonzalez comes up with it, throws low, and Hammond digs it out for the out. There's one away. The Saints looking to improve to 3-5 in league play, win their 3rd straight road game. And the Blues trying to keep that from happening. They're trying to capitalize on the sweep that they had of Orange County, and it feels like every time that they've gotten runners on, gotten runners in scoring position, they can move them over, just have not been able to bring them in. And they picked up a run back in the 6th inning. They've gotten more guys on, but it's been a little too late, I think, as the catcher Jones goes out to talk with Hayden Lewis, the right-hander. The batter is Jacob Ruley, and you can't pin it on any one guy, but Ruley's been the guy that's come up in the big situations, and he's just had some tough ABs. Grounded out to end the 2nd inning with 2 runners on, and then popped out in the 4th with the bases loaded and 2 outs, popped out in the 6th with 2 runners on and 2 outs. And he's trying to get some redemption, get on base here in the 9th. The 0-0. He takes the fastball high, 1 ball and no strikes. Lewis, the righty from Arizona, is out for his 2nd inning. Not in line for a save. It's not a safe situation. 1 ball, no strike count on Ruley. Ruley is made up for the outs at the plate with some phenomenal defense in left, highlighted by the sliding catch in the top half of this inning. Long hold from Lewis. The 1-1 on the way. And Ruley pops it foul down the first base line. 1 ball and 2 strikes. On deck is Nin Burns, the leadoff hitter. Walked, stole a base, and was stranded on 3rd in the 7th. From the windup, Lewis has his sign. He kicks and deals the 1-2. And Ruley bounces it too short. Morales has it across the diamond in time. Out number 2. So with 2 away, it all falls on the shoulder of Nin Burns. The Blues have grounded out for both outs here in the 9th inning. And Burns, who is 0 for 3, steps up the lone last hope for San Luis Obispo. Burns popped out in the 1st, grounded out to the first baseman Hammond in the 3rd, struck out in the 5th, walked, stole a base in the 7th. The 0-0, and he nubs it foul off the netting. No balls and 1 strike. Blues played 4 games on the road last week. This is the first of 5 games this week. 1 of them will be on the road. That's tomorrow night. They really wanted to get this home win, as that missed upstairs. 1 ball and 1 strike. 1-1 the count on Burns. Trying to keep this game alive. The pitch. And Burns takes a fastball in the outside corner. 1 ball and 2 strikes. So the Saints are a strike away from coming into San Luis Obispo and stealing the wind from the hot Blues. Lewis from the windup. He kicks and deals. And Burns strikes out swinging. That's the 7th strikeout for the Blues, and that pushes this game final. It's a 6-1 road victory for the Saints, who win their 3rd straight on the road and improve to 3-5. Your San Luis Obispo Blues 3-4, and they head back out on the road tomorrow. Just a game I think the Blues wish they could have back. The start of it got away from them, and they couldn't do enough at the plate to make up for the slow start. It's a 6-1 final, as we're going to take a break here on the SLO Blues Streaming Network and come back with an intern interview.
The fact that you and I are working here today is evidence of that.
We're back here on the SLO Blues streaming network after the Blues drop a tough one. It's a 6-1 final and the loss to the Arroyo Seco Saints, but that means we get to do an intern interview, and the Blues have been so good at home, we haven't got to do too many of these, but I'm joined with Jillian Davis, who is one of the interns for the Blues this summer. Jillian, why don't you start by telling the viewers what do you do for the Blues and how did you find out about them?
Okay, so I'm on the promotions team, and I kind of do a little bit of everything here at the Blues. I get to serve beer, do merchandise, do on-field promotions, and I heard about this from one of my friend who also works here, Nate. He's on camera too with you sometimes, and he told me, he's like, just check it out, and here I am with Jack now.
Right.
Lucky me.
The viewers are well aware of Nate. Of course, they love his analysis during the game, and you, Nate, and I are journalism majors.
Yeah,
so it's
we're
good
the
to
only
have
three on the team, I think.
Good to have a journalism
Yeah.
buddy. What's your favorite part about studying journalism at Cal Poly?
I love how much I feel like all my professors care. You know, and they all have a lot of experience, so it's nice getting to learn from people that actually have experience in the professional world rather than just people teaching out of a textbook. So that's what I like. It's very hands-on. You know, we learn by doing at Cal Poly, so that's what I like about it.
And so you learn by doing. I'm curious as to what side of journalism you like to do. Of course, Nate and I, more the broadcast side. I am aware that there are other kinds of journalism as much as I love broadcasting. So what is the side that you want to go into most?
So I am planning on going into like journalism, concentrating in public relations. My mom always tells me that I should go into the broadcast side with you and Nate. So I do broadcast stuff with Nate for Mustang News, but that's not like what I'm concentrating in. Right now it's public relations, so we'll see. Maybe I will be on TV with you one day.
If the viewers like you, maybe we'll start a vote. Maybe you replace Nate.
Maybe, I think we should do it.
Last question. What's been your favorite part of working with the Blues so far this summer?
Honestly, I just love how nice everyone is. You know, I feel like we've only known each other, like everyone, like our whole team has only known each other for less than a month. And I feel like we're all super close already. And like, I thought it was going to be like, feel like such a burden to come to work. You know, that's what it feels like for so many people. But here it's fun. We all like each other. And I guess I like being here.
Well, I feel like everyone likes to work in sports and baseball. Of course, it's fun when the Blues win. They drop a tough one today, though. Final of 6-1 as they head tomorrow to Pasadena for a rematch with the Saints. Game 2 of this 2-game home-and-home series as they'll try and rebound and grab a win in Game 2 for Jack Smith. Nate Mills, our two statistics people. Jillian Davis, who came in to join for the intern interview. We've been the SLO Blues streaming network, and we will say goodbye until tomorrow in Pasadena.